They don't make movies like 2004 made movies. This movie fucking rocks. This movie is so fucking crazy. I loved every second of it. That's the podcast. I am so hype for Swords and Sandals spring and summer. I am fucking here for it.
I'm here in BC before Cullen and Chicken Little. I'm in a toga. I'm in a painting. I blue skidooed into a painting. Uh,
Amazing.
Blue said, "I blue skidoo. You can too," and I did it
And
as
you did
well.
it.
Yeah,
Yes, you did.
yeah. And here we are for Swords and Sandals Summer. Welcome back to Not My Fantasy Podcast, the podcast where we talk about fantasy films and the lore that inspired them. I'm Cullen.
And I'm Hannah.
And today, on our second journey back to the BC era, is television writer Jeremy Gilfor.
Hello. Um,
Welcome.
my mother is not a naiad, but I was also, donor inseminated. So my dad could be a god.
Yeah,
That there you go.
and you can't prove a negative. So how can you prove he wasn't? You
You
know?
can't.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
You can't.
in a different
yeah.
time, I would have been a hero.
Hmm
Instead, I am a broke TV writer. So in the true tradition of Ovid and
Not all heroes wear capes or
Yeah,
togas.
or togas. And it's a Greek tragedy. So we're here to talk about 2004's
Ah,
Troy.
you know,
Woo!
they don't they don't make movies like 2004 made movies. I
They
mean,
honestly don't. That was
this
actually like a
movie,
big
this
feeling I
movie
had.
fucking rocks. This movie is so fucking crazy. I loved every second of it. And that's the podcast.
Wow. Now, Jeremy, you said you had a journey just to watch this movie
Yes.
for the podcast.
You guys, the Not My Fantasy podcast is a wonderful host. They provide the
Thank
film for you. I was happy to get it myself, but they're like, "No, we have it. Here you go. Here's the download." I logged into the account to watch it. I HDMI'd it into my TV, and then I'm a very old man. HDMI'd it into my TV, and I changed the sound from my computer to the sound bar. That took me about 30 minutes because, like I said, I'm an old man. I get ready. I sit down. I've got my popcorn made. I burnt the first batch. I bathed the second.
Oh,
It was an offering to Apollo. Don't worry. I
Yeah.
burnt the second batch. Sit down to watch the movie. Press play. I'm having an excellent time. Forgot how much I love this movie. 28 minutes and 14 seconds in, the movie freezes. And I just get a little spinning ball. I'm like, that's weird. So I pull back out. I refresh for another 30 minutes. I'm doing that. I'm like troubleshooting it online. It was like the rights of Troy just vanished. And I was like, oh my God, I have to watch this. Oh, I just broke my teeth. I have to watch this film. Troy is not streaming anywhere. I was like, well, I'm not going to just buy it. Like, I'm not going to buy it from Amazon. I'm going to go to my local video store, Vidiot's. So I drive over to Vidiot's. I get the DVD. It's actually and I only have a DVD player, not a Blu-ray player. So I have the DVD. It's the DVD and the special features, two disc.
holy
Oh,
shit.
an
Bring it home,
artifact.
put it in, and I don't know if it's my DVD player or the disc, but
No.
it is not working. Like,
What?
so it's another 30 minutes of troubleshooting. Finally, the movie works, but like every 30 to 40 minutes, it'll kind of like stop and then just kind of like skip half remember chapters? Remember DVD
Yeah.
Yeah.
chapters? So it'd skip like half a chapter. So for the most part, I saw it all. There are some missing pieces. And there are also some missing pieces that I would like to discuss because we did not watch the director's cut,
Yeah.
uh, which I realized through my watching that that must have been what I have been watching in the past.
Interesting.
Oh.
I have some missing moments, mostly bare flesh that I
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yes, that was not present in this theatrical cut. And I want to just also point out that I have not yet had the chance to watch a special features, so we can
Oh,
film a secondary addendum for the Patreon.
hell yes. Hell
Of
yes.
just me watching the special features.
Honestly, if you do and you just like send us some videos, we'll pop it in and you'll be like, oh my God, so this happened. Here's what the director had to say. Yeah.
Yeah, the director Wolfgang Peterson,
Yeah.
um, who I don't know.
He, directed a few other things like Poseidon.
Mhm.
And right before this was Das Boot. He's a
Mm.
German director.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Das
also
Boot, obviously a big movie. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and a Neverending Story, I believe.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brad Pitt and Peter O'Toole, I don't think liked him. I think Peter O'Toole
Oh.
left mid-screening of this movie.
Yes, yes, I did read that in the IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So this is gonna be this I think will be a very interesting episode. This was my first time seeing
Oh, okay.
Troy.
Okay.
Wow.
And this has been on our list since like we started the pod that we had to do Troy.
Yeah.
Um, so what I find so I do want to say like watching it, there's something I really appreciated. I know like they wouldn't make this movie today, it's such a like whatever, but like just
Right.
like this is it's not like it's adapting one of the most like ancient told stories in human history, which we will talk about. So it's not like it's an unknown IP, but like and it's not like it's that intellectual of a movie, but like
No.
the faith
No.
it has to be like we're just going to tell a story and expect you to be able to follow along, and it's just like an original in a way story. It's not like a franchise thing. I'm just like they would not make this today. Like it just wouldn't be made. And it's so weird that this blockbuster movie like gives me the feeling of like a weird indie darling in that like not like
I
it
love
feels like
that.
an indie darling, but you're just like proud that this exists because they just wouldn't like this would be seen so risky now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think it says something about the studios as well as audiences. I think
Yeah.
sometimes we want to blame the studios for their lack of adventurousness. And we should, and we let's keep doing that. But I sometimes I also think, wow, audiences are dumb. Like,
Yeah, because the thing that I recognize about this movie is that it's really split up into deaths. Certain main characters will die, and that
yeah.
moves the story along. And that's kind of how the movie is split. And
And
so
that's
that,
kind of how the Iliad is split too, to
right.
be
But it's
honest.
like,
Like,
I feel like for audiences that could get repetitive, but you do have to be invested in the characters. And I think the movie does a good job of making you invested in every subset of characters
oh,
in such a way that you have to understand the dynamics to understand how the movie has been moved forward. Otherwise, if you're just sitting on your phone, not really paying attention, you're like, oh, someone else died, whatever, you
Yeah.
yeah.
know?
That being
So,
said, I still think you could enjoy this film that way. At
yeah,
least the first hour, 40 minutes,
yeah.
you'll be having a great time because it is this lovely mix of a 2004 blockbuster, which
Hmm.
many could be seen as now a 2026 semi-independent film, as Cullen was saying. I mean, it's clear that this is a big, big movie. It's got a
Mm,
ton, like the casting we will talk about is loaded top to bottom, even with its quote unquote unknowns, who we can talk about as
yeah.
well. But I mean, Brad Pitt as Achilles by itself probably sells this movie. And even if you are, I'll talk about the way that I first watched this movie in a second, but even if you are, just random Joe Schmo in 2004, you probably know of Achilles. And you
Yes.
probably know that he died by getting shot in the ankle. Like, and we could talk about how true or not true that is. But I mean, even if you know nothing else, you know this is a heroic tale,
Yeah.
and our big dude is gonna kill a lot of people and then probably die. And so if
Right.
you just have that going in, and you probably know about a horse that people steal,
Yeah.
like there are certain things that are just
Yeah.
permeated the cultural consciousness of a
Yeah.
Western society to a point where you're like, I don't have to tell you, the true details of Agamemnon rallying the Greeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can still follow along and have a great time at these camps, even though you're like, wait, Achilles is a leader and a king, and this guy's a king. How are they all kings? What's going on? Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know how you guys want to lead this, but I got a lot to talk
We
about.
got a lot to talk about. We'll get
Yeah.
into the background of the movie, and I think you pointed out that in 2004, people would think, okay, Achilles was shot in his heel. That's how he died. There was a horse, and I do wonder. This is making me sound 1,000 years old, so I don't know. But if you ask the average audience member today if they would have that knowledge,
I think I think it's they know the word Achilles and they think of their ankle. I think that's where it comes from. And then they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, this is how that got its name." It's like they
yeah,
work back from
They
that
might they
body
might not
part.
even think of the ankle. They might think of straight up heel, Achilles
Oh
heel,
yeah,
yeah,
just your
like just
foot.
heel.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
they're like, "Is that a disease? I don't know." And then I also think like there's other like the Trojan horse or like the helmet
yeah,
is like an icon or like the Spartan helmet or like the
yeah,
Trojan helmet. Those are iconography that you see
Absolutely.
all over. So you're like, oh, that's where, whatever sports team is the Spartans, that's where they get
yeah,
their helmet icon. Michigan State, that's where they get it
yeah,
from.
Oh, so Freddie.
Um, so or the thing that it got me, I kept being like, there's a lot of sometimes there's like feet shots, and so like you're like waiting to be like, is this where he's gonna get shot in the foot? Oh, it's not. And then or or when this is getting way too far into the end of the movie, but we meet Aeneas, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, that's another guy from the thing.
That's a
So
guy
it's
from the
like that's what this movie is like that's the guy from the thing. That's where this thing that I know of in real world
Ah,
comes from. That's how I
yeah.
see this movie.
Yeah. Okay. So now this was my first time seeing this movie, despite being a resident of Troy. Troy is my hometown, Troy,
Yeah,
Michigan.
that's wild.
T-Town, the city of tomorrow
Cheat.
today.
Oh,
is
Yeah.
that city named for
Yes.
the ancient kingdom of Troy? Interesting.
Yes.
yeah.
Because we had a lot of like streets and things that were named after Greek mythology.
Wow.
Athena was in our logo, like our city
I'm
logo.
just learning this about your hometown.
Yeah.
I guess this is the setting for you to tell
This
me
is
it.
the
How else
setting.
would it
We
come up?
also famously corrupt city council. I had classmates who would study in their political science classes because
Wow.
our city council was corrupt.
Damn.
Yeah. So yes, I'm a Trojan.
Mhm.
Insane.
This is
Yeah.
wild.
What? You were
I
waiting for the perfect moment
was
to
waiting
admit
for
your birthright.
yeah, my
Yeah.
birthright, and I am, if we're gonna get to this question, you don't have to answer it now, but if you're Team Greece or Team Troy, I'm a solid Team Troy. I have been since I was young, you know, like a stand of free will. I am a
I
I
solid Team
mean,
Troy.
yeah.
listen, my background I think says it all. I think we understand my stand here.
Allegiances to
Yes.
Hector.
I think
Yeah.
that
Absolutely.
as a straight white man, I probably have the best, not, oh my God, I said the best right off the
The
Oh
bat.
best.
gosh.
Oh, okay.
Probably have the most like traditional reaction to this, which is like, and I remember watching it last night and feeling this, which was like when I was younger and I would like hear about this story or watch this movie, I mean, the Greeks are presented as the heroes. And you never really consider why they are sacking Troy for no reason. And I think this movie does a great job of just making Agamemnon a fucking Disney villain, evil piece of shit, which I
Yeah.
love. And Brian Cox is great at it. But
Yeah.
I remember as a kid being like, wow, Hector is so honest and pure, but like I still want my boys to get the W. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But last night watching it definitely was like I'm now firmly entrenched as a 30-year-old person in just like anti-imperialism and like don't fuck with my shit. Like what do you guys just
Yeah.
cuz you want to
Yeah.
unite the Greeks and that's good for some reason, so you got to murder and rape a lot. Like
Hmm.
not cool. Um, so yeah, it was like a weird, it's like when you watch like a comedy, like an older
Yeah.
comedy, you're like, ooh, some of those jokes don't land. It was,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
ooh, this 1,000-year-old story kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, from the moment the story was presented to me, was always Team Troy because I just liked those characters.
So this is like an Alamo story for you.
Yes. See, I
Yeah.
I I lo as a Marie Antoinette stan, I think I just always loved a lost cause. Because
Love
like
it.
as I've seen both Versailles and Buckingham Palace, it feels better to see Versailles. You're like, the monarchy shouldn't be still around. Like it sucks for
Yeah.
her, but like at the end of the day, like we shouldn't have a monarchy. And Buckingham is like, it's weird that we still have this. At least
Yeah.
that's how I felt. Like it's like I feel like I like it better as a
You're like,
museum.
this should just be a museum. There should not be an old woman living here who's kind of governing our country
Yeah,
or the
who's like
country.
God
You're not country.
because God said so. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
A
Yeah.
version of this film, but we never leave Troy. Like we start with just like this like thriving city with kind of a we play it as like two brothers with daddy problems,
yeah,
and, like what the dad loves one son and not really his like fuck up effeminate one.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then there's like a monster at the door kind of thing.
no,
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting version of this story and of this movie, honestly. That is more of like the Two Towers version of this movie
Yeah.
is probably really sick. And I mean, we bring it up as like, what is this story? But I mean, it does feel like the whole reason is Chris Nolan is making this movie later this year.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Odyssey. Yeah, so that's
Odyssey
why we're doing
coming
Sequel.
out.
Swords and Sandals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was actually there was a
yes,
world where he was going to direct this movie.
he was.
Yeah. And thank God he did or did not and finally directed it this way. But yeah, I think that like it's clear that it is still a story that has gravity and that like people connect to and that people
Yeah,
see parts of in. But I am very interested to see if this version of the of Nolan's Odyssey, for example, is going to play it as like these are not very good. Like even just like the way that I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers, but like that like Damon as Odysseus looks, you're kind of
Yeah.
like, ooh, he does not he doesn't look like a king, like a
Yeah. Not
yeah,
colorful
heroic looking, I
heroic guy.
guess.
He looks like someone who just spent 7 years in Siberia. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I'm interested to see what the POVs he takes there, and if in 2026 we're a little bit more, hey guys, those Trojans were kind of just hanging out, or if we need to make those Trojans more evil
evil.
to make
Right.
this movie work.
I think the concept of a hero, and this came up way back when we did the Disney Hercules, like the ancient Greek concept of a hero versus like the modern concept of a hero or a superhero, is so different. Like they're related ideas, but they're different. They represent like different societal values of like what is heroic or admirable. Um, like
And
we're basically at ground zero for masculinity. We're at
yeah.
this is one of the building blocks of modern masculinity. So
Well, and what's wild too is that like it's like you were saying, it is based on like the Greeks were a conquering
yeah,
people of some type. Like you think of all of their heroes, and there are very few of them are like someone who took down tyranny because often they sort of were the tyrants.
yeah,
Thinking back to like old like Jewish history, we have like the Maccabees, like I mean, you
yeah,
have like, the 300 Spartans who lost but killed 100,000 or whatever, and you've got
yeah,
the Maccabees who were like 20 and beat an army. You've got some of these like older stories, but it does feel like a lot of the Greek stories are like, yeah, I am strong and mighty, and I killed these other mighty people, and there's definitely we get some of this in the film with Achilles and Patroclus and stuff like that, but like there is definitely still a reverence for life, and like
yeah,
Hmm.
taking a man's life is not nothing.
yeah,
We get that with Hector, we get that with Achilles, but it is still like, but I have to do this to have my name be glorious,
yeah. And that's
Hmm.
just the
and
end
that's the
goal.
most important thing.
Yeah.
And guess what? They were kind of right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, in
I do,
our patriarchal society, they're
yeah.
right.
I do really think guns are what made everything so much worse because back these are like bloodthirsty warriors, but they have a bit of a reverence because you had to like be there and see it.
And
Yeah.
you have to like there you don't unless you're an archer, you're not killing someone from so far away. You are right there in their face, stabbing.
Yeah,
There's clouds of blood in some of these scenes. It's crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
But okay, we're doing so much pre-talk
We're doing so
because
much pre. We're doing so much pre.
pre-talk, but it's
lore,
all good
lore,
stuff. All
lore.
good stuff. So this movie, directed by Wolfgang Peterson, written by David Benioff,
David
Benioff,
Benioff!
can you
Benioff
believe it?
of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracked so much. The moment I was like, wait, I see the pieces. Um, Music by James Horner. The original composer was fired during test screenings.
Oh.
People didn't like the music and
Oh,
they just fired him right away. And James Horner had 4 weeks to come up with the score.
well, he did a great job.
That explains why it is pretty straight down the middle.
Yeah, it's I
It
mean,
is
for 4 weeks, pretty good. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
very it's run of the mill this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
this type of
Yeah.
movie.
It swells when you want our to feel power for our heroes, and it gets sad when people are dying.
Yeah.
It, it really is. It really is doing a lot, I would
Yes.
It's very. Do you remember Age of Empires and Age of Mythology? Like those video games? I was a big Age of Mythology kid. I
Well, I
would say
literally thought
that.
I was playing Sid Meier's Civilization when Sean Bean started narrating for me. I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I forgot he was in this movie. I forgot he was. He's the narrator for the ancient times. He really
Yeah.
is
And he lives.
He lives. He's the
now.
one who
He
lives.
lives now."
I know. This movie had a budget of 175 to 185 million with a box office of 497.4 million.
Yeah.
So pretty big success. Filmed in Mexico and Malta with Bulgarian and Mexican extras. Some of the Bulgarian extras were underpaid and mistreated. That had to be rectified.
Mm.
And this sets were built. I
But
think
Yeah.
that's
wasn't this? I feel like I remember reading about that this was supposed to be more in the Middle East, or sorry, in
yes. It
like
was in
Sawa.
Morocco.
Yeah, it was supposed to be more in Sawa, and then the kind of 9/11 of it all.
Yeah, this
Oh
is a
yeah.
very post 9/11 movie that is in my
Yes.
notes. Based on from the location to, I would describe this as the story de-girly popified. Um, uh, it stars Brad Pitt as Achilles, Eric Bana as Hector. Hot to
He's a
me. I
he's
think
a
me and Hannah had the same taste in this
hot.
one. I was like, hot.
No, Eric Bana hot always. Even in the fucking Star Trek movie he was in, he plays the villain. He's got a bald cap on. I would smash.
Because I'm like, is this going to be another where I like Faramir and no one else does situation?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because this movie
But
is
no.
right after Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
2004. We have Orlando Bloom as Paris, Diane Kruger as Helen, Brian Cox as Agamemnon, Sean Bean as Odysseus, Brendan Gleeson as Menelaus, Rose Byrne as Briseis, Peter O'Toole as King Priam,
My gosh.
Garrett Hedlund as
Patroclus.
Patroclus,
Patroclus!
Saffron Burrows as Andromache, Julie Christie as Thetis, and Vincent Regan as Eudorus. There's a director's cut with more nudity and violence and no Josh Groban song at the end.
Yeah.
But also a the big negative with the director's cut, just from my Reddit searching after I realized there was one, is the music for the Hector Achilles fight is very different and apparently very bad.
Oh,
I think they
interesting.
used the theme from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I think they couldn't clear a song, and so they ended up changing it. The
Whoa.
big negative on the Reddit boards is, yeah, the director's cut's got more nudity, which we will talk about because I missed it, and
Hmm.
um, worse editing because this is a 2 hour and 45 minute film, which we did not
Hmm.
mention, and the director's
Yeah.
cut is 320.
Yeah.
So
Long.
it is fucking long. And it is a saga, it is an epic war, but the real Trojan War was the real Trojan War was 10 years, and this war was 3 days, and yet it was still 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So myths and backstory. We're gonna do a slightly different setup
Okay.
because we're trying to avoid being too recappy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a brief talk about the Iliad, and then we're gonna kind of do the movie in chunks, and then be like, and this is how it is in mythology. Obviously, there is no canon. I think that's an important distinction. Canon is a Catholicism thing, and so most ancient mythology does not have an official thing that happened. There was no pope or council to be like, this is how we all feel about Athena. It's just a bunch of different stories. So this is going to be from. I did speed read some parts of the Iliad, as well as I got Bulfinch's mythology.
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
I've this copy from the Iliad is from 1942. It's just the one I had on my shelf. Translated by Samuel Butler, edited by Louise R. Loomis.
Can I see your cover? I might have the same one.
It's just like a
Oh, no,
yeah.
yours is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it from like a used book sale, I think at like the library.
Mm.
Also I'm pulling from just a lot of childhood knowledge. So shout out to the Troy Public Library. and the Sterling Heights Public Library for
Did
sponsoring this
the
video.
did the Troy Public Library just have a ton of Trojan War, like the
Yeah.
original manuscripts?
That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
I just, anything I would read, I read the whole kids section and then I went to the adult section. And that's how I learned about sex. And yeah, but yeah, so I'm pulling from a lot of different sources, and so we're just gonna. I also think it's important to note that change from the story to a movie is not bad. And we've never been those people, so I doubt you're listening now and expecting that. I love an
Hmm.
adaptational change. And if any story needs it, it's this one because the sheer amount of characters alone trying to
Yeah.
read the Iliad, and I'm like, who is this? Who is what? And I'm
And of
someone
course
with a familiarity.
it's probably this person, son of this person.
Yes.
And it's that all over again
Yeah.
constantly. And
Yeah.
luckily they don't do that in this movie very much, which I only noticed because I think it only happens one time where Achilles is like, I'm Achilles, son of whoever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, people haven't been doing that.
Yeah. Um, to the point where I'm like, wow, because I remember saying Exodus was a little clunky to read, and then I was like, wow, Exodus was so streamlined. So bare notes. We're just rolling through this.
Mhm.
They were
Yeah.
in, they left.
Yeah. Blake. Oh, yeah. Uh, I will say, if Achilles has no haters, I'm dead. And I've always
Mhm.
said that.
Yeah,
If Achilles has
famously.
Famously, if Achilles has no haters, I'm dead. I'm his number one hater.
Him
Bottom
and Oliver
tier,
Cromwell.
yeah, him and fuck Oliver Cromwell, yeah. Achilles bottom tier, Greek hero.
Mm.
Um, Probably with like Bellerophon. Like whose favorite is Bellerophon?
No idea who that is. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, even I
Yeah.
don't know who that is.
Yeah, he tamed the Pegasus. So he should be cool,
Oh.
but he died real
Oh.
dumb.
Oh.
Yeah. And we'll talk about one of my favorites pretty soon. But
Well, but wait, no, don't butt. Don't you can't just butt an Achilles hater. Hold on.
yeah,
Look. I think that we need to reclassify Achilles, and I think that's part of his hate, his potential hatred.
okay.
I think. First off, I think as a sports fan,
Hmm.
like to me, Achilles has that kind of like ultimate prodigal.
Mm.
He's like basically Messi
Yeah.
is
Right.
incredible. He's touched by the gods. He shows up and he's just incredible. He is the
Yeah.
best killer of all time. He's the best warrior of all time. Potentially touched by the gods, potentially is a god, potentially yada, yada, yada. But I think ultimately it is, and we've never had an adaptation that is super interesting. And I think I've read some Brad Pitt quotes that was kind of his problem with this movie is that like they wanted him to be a hero, center of the frame, the winner. And he's like,
Yeah.
actually, Achilles is a little bit more complicated than that. Like, I always thought of him as like this tragic himbo who
Mm.
beautiful in the visage of a young Apollo, like that young boy
Yeah.
beauty, and was just incredible at killing. And at the time, all the Greeks wanted to do was kill each other. So
Yeah.
just constantly kings fighting over this guy who ultimately like is just really fucking good. And like Agamemnon really does fucking need him. And all he wants to do is fuck his cousin and like sleep and thing. And they keep being like, no, you got to do this war for us so that you can live forever. And he's like, okay. And then when you're a young person and you're just getting that in your head all the time of like, you are going to be great, you are going to
Yeah.
be remembered forever. Boom. Now, is the characterization in this movie insane? Yes. Does he have some absolutely vicious one-liners? Yes. Is
Yeah.
he
Mhm.
awesome? Yes. Is he also a little prick?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But he's not raping anybody. I know that's a low bar.
I know, but
Yeah,
this
the
is
bar is
Greek
literal hell.
mythology, so
It's
the
not.
bar is
The bar
Tartarus.
is right along the river Styx.
Yeah. I will say Brad Pitt does a great performance, and I'm kind of a Brad Pitt hater too.
Well,
Yeah,
And we can
so
get to that.
we can get to that. But I think the performance is good. He does manage to put nuance in even when the nuance isn't in the writing, or the direction. He's putting nuance in. Yeah, I don't like him. Never have. There are better himbos. I think he's too malevolent to even be a himbo.
Mm,
He gives me like spoiled little prince.
mm.
Um but I do like your reading. I think that is a pretty fair reading. I just yeah, I don't fuck with him. And he doesn't fuck with me either because I'm from Troy. So the Iliad is one of two major ancient Greek poems attributed to the blind poet Homer, one of the oldest works of literature still widely read by modern audiences, divided into 24 books, written in dactylic hexameter. It contains over 15,000 lines in its standard edition, often regarded as one of the first or the first substantial piece of European literature. We're talking about Oliver Cromwell. Sorry, this I had this thought, and then I was at the Ren Fair yesterday, and
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Rafa was like, "I want to meet the Queen. Like, no one's doing it. Let's go." So we go to meet the Queen,
Yeah.
and we're waiting in line, and they're like, "Oh, she likes questions. You can ask her who her favorite cousin is. Like, maybe it's William." And I was like, "Not Mary?" And they're like, "Don't mention Mary, Mary Queen of Scots. You know,
Of
don't
course.
mention Mary if you know what's good for you." I was like, but I bonded with that little Ren Fair guy whose
uh,
job, because there's like almost everyone at the Ren Fair is kind of in like medieval fantasy, and then there are those like people that are like hardcore historical
yeah,
accurate, like
Yes.
yeah.
they're working in these guilds and they're like doing cool crafts
The
and
guild people are the
spinning.
best. You can gamble
Yeah.
with them. You can play three man. No, it's called nine man Monty with them. Like you can
Mm,
really you can they know their stuff.
yeah. And I love that for them. I'm
It's
like,
great.
Yeah.
yeah, they're so cool. I even got this little kid was giving free advice. And or she said, just because it's free, does I said it was free, I didn't say it was good.
There you go. Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was giving Lucy the doctor is in.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the movie, we open with writing on a screen
We
that is
open with a
very
book.
hard to read.
So hard to
I
read.
was like, who did
It's
this?
papyrus font on top of like a yellowed map.
On top
Yeah.
of papyrus paper. It's
Yeah, and it's
yellow
like
papyrus.
My
it's a
mother wouldn't
lot.
let this pass in the homeschool yearbook. She wouldn't have let this pass in a movie. She'd be like, "You can't read this font on this text."
Wait, I need to go back for just one moment because
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
so the first time I ever saw this film was in sixth grade Latin class.
Mm,
Amazing.
We watched it. So our Latin class was like probably 1/10 Latin and
yeah.
9/10 Greek and Roman mythology.
Right.
Honestly, as it should be. I took
As it
Latin
should
and
be.
they don't use it.
Then the only time we ever learned Latin was when the Eagles made the Super Bowl and we learned how to say fly. We learned how to sing the Eagles fight song, Fly Eagles Fly, in Latin and then sang it and got in the newspaper for it.
Hell
Volante
yeah.
aqualae volate and Via Victoriam. I still know the whole thing.
Amazing.
But we watched it. We were like, so we would spend some class, but we watched it in the library. She like rented out the school library for us to watch during class, and we watched it over four classes because it's so long. And we watched the
Director's cut,
director's
all the nudity.
chest
Authentic.
nudity, and it was awesome, and we were all so excited. But I bring it up because I don't know why this was the first movie in my consciousness that has that Warner Brothers open where they go over the lot, but the lot is
Oh,
like in orange and sepia tone.
Yeah.
right.
And I, in sixth grade, was like, oh my God, like this is like a special opening for Troy. This is like the barracks. Right?
Oh.
So then
Oh,
every other movie, I was like, wait, are we also in an old battle? And
It's like the Disney Castle, the Troy
yeah, it's like when they
Barracks.
changed the Universal Earth, like you know it's about to be a good movie.
yeah.
Oh
This
my
was
gosh.
not that. This was just me being stupid. But so
Uh,
it was like already in before we even get to the writing. I'm like already pumping my chest and excited, and then we get a
yeah.
bunch of text, and I curl in on myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of text to kind of say a little.
Just say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, we don't like they're yeah, we'll get to the backstory. They're simplifying for I think good reason, but we get this there's a lot of the Iliad does not opens in media res. Like it opens in the Trojan War. And this movie is like, no, we're doing a lot of build up. We
We're doing
got
a lot of buildup.
yeah, so we get that Agamemnon has been uniting Greece in war, and we establish kind of pretty smartly this kind of like man on man combat, like hero versus hero thing that you use to like conquer different regions.
Really smart. Yeah.
Because Agamemnon is the king of Mycenae, which at this time in Greece was one of the biggest powers and then like collapsed as a civilization. Um, but he's king and his hero is Achilles, who isn't doesn't work for him per se, I guess, but like works for him, but is he's so good that he can be like he can afford to be disobedient because
Yeah. And he leads his own tribe, who when
Yeah.
I
yeah,
was younger I called the mermen because that's what they
Mm.
sound like.
yeah,
uh,
the
so he's
Myrmidons,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, but he can't help. He's so like that's why you hate Achilles, I think partially is that like he's there because he does lead a band, but he's like so good that he's like, yeah, I can't turn down fighting the best person. Like he's got such an
yeah,
ego that he
Mhm.
can't say no to winning. There's
Yeah.
Odysseus gets him later and he's like, I heard Hector's the best, and
yeah.
Yeah.
they're always getting Achilles that way.
So, very 2004, we get this kid going to wake him up, and it's like, wow, he just banged two hotties.
It's the
Yeah.
best. It's the best
This guy
opening.
gets bitches.
It's
Like,
the
Yeah,
best opening. So I just want to say, in the director's cut, when the kid goes to get him, Achilles stands up and we see Brad Pitt's butt. Like that is literally the first thing we see is this golden butt. Like he's so tan, and it fills up the bottom like 2/3 of the screen. Like he
wow.
stands up. The women he's with are naked. Like you see their breasts. Like I remember as a 12-year-old kid being like, "This is the coolest open ever." And also, as a 12-year-old boy, the guy who plays Boagrius, the champion of
yeah,
forget who, is Nathan
Thessaly, yeah,
Jones, as Nathan Jones at the time,
Yeah.
who was a professional wrestler. I was a huge wrestling fan. And so this movie opens with like dun dun dun, and then Nathan Jones, a giant wrestler, and I was like, he was like a 7-footer, he's an Australian guy, he's played rugby, and I was like, oh my God. And then we get the like Achilles rolling out of bed and just killing a dude, which is just like I would need to stretch. Like I would
yeah.
need a
Yeah.
Well,
little coffee.
he's been
He's been stretching
stretched.
all night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But we get Achilles is before even we get his like first absolutely fucking burn, which is when the kid is like, "Oh, I wouldn't want to fight that guy," and then Achilles is like, "And that's why no one will remember your name."
I
Being
laughed so hard. He's so fucking funny.
so funny.
I'm just like, wow, you just dragged a 12-year-old. Like
Like a
that's just how you
Yeah.
start
ten-year-old.
the movie. And it's like, okay, wow, are you smarter than a fifth grader? I
That's our
guess.
hero. That's our
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, yeah, he rolls up, kills the guy, and is like, Agamemnon, fuck you. I guess I work for you. And we get that Agamemnon's united all of Greece. And meanwhile, in Sparta, we get Menelaus, who's hosting.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yes,
Mhm.
he's hosting Paris and Hector from Troy. Sparta and Troy have been at war, but now they're making peace. And they're having these dancers that are designed to look specifically Cretan. That is a Cretan style.
Oh.
Mm.
First of all, it's Cretan. If you're gonna threaten me, do it properly. Monsters Inc. So they're dancing around, and then the Helen goes upstairs, and Paris follows, and Hector's like, "Oh boy."
Great.
And
Fucking brother again.
he walks in the room, and he shuts the door and locks it, and I gasped. I was like, but it turns out Paris and Helen
It's
they've been hooking up.
consensual.
They've been
Yeah.
hooking up. He wants to give her fancy ass pearls. She's like, I
That's
can't
not
wear
what you said
this.
last night.
Yeah.
Get one of
He's like
those.
touching her and stuff. I'm like, this movie is sexy too. I'm like, God damn.
And you mentioned like we've talked about the casting, but Diane Kruger, absolute unknown at the time.
Yeah.
And they were like, I remember reading that at one point they weren't going to show Helen at all because they were like, you just can't. She's the most beautiful woman in the world, the woman who
Right.
lost 1,000 ships. Like you can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they cast unknown Diane Kruger, who looks perfect in this movie,
Yeah.
and like
Gorgeous.
just look
Yeah.
exactly like you would expect a woman that people would fight over. She's smoky, she's sexy.
She's got a smoky, like,
Got a real smoky, not
okay.
as less so than Paris's, to be honest.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Paris
Yeah.
has got
Yeah.
a lot of eyeliner
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swords and Sandals movie eyeliner. It's on point, this movie for
You
sure.
have to do it.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be Nicole Kidman at one point.
I would have bought that.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
yeah, I would say like 90s Nicole Kidman probably would have been perfect.
I'd love to see
Weird that
what
we go
wig
to
she'd have.
Australia every time. Like,
The hottest people,
beautiful.
they make them in
Eric
Australia.
Bana, yep.
Yeah.
Literally everyone in this movie is most of the people in this movie are Australian. I mean, like there's a lot of
Yeah.
Australians.
Yeah.
But we also get more nudity in this first Paris,
Yeah.
the director's cut. Like when she takes off her dress, which is I always thought when I was a kid was the coolest fucking move. The two clips was just
Just that. Yeah.
naked. Meanwhile, every man has 4,000. Like he like comes to her with his armor on. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
But just incredible. But she's yeah, she you see her breasts. You see a little bit lower of Paris in his oiled frame.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mr. formerly Miss never fully Mr. Katy Perry,
Yes.
but former Katy Perry, now Katy Perry Trudeau,
Yes.
Right.
Mr. Orlando Bloom, uh, the one who fought to really get to attend Jeff Bezos's wedding. Um, he's here, he's fresh, and this is kind of the Orlando Bloom's golden age. We're like right in between Lord of the
Like,
Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah.
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 Mhm.
And so he's the pretty boy. And she's like, my husband doesn't give a shit about me. Every day I just want to walk in the ocean.
So sad.
She's
Yeah.
like, and he's like, let's run away. And she's like, no, he'll chase me forever. And he's like, I don't care. I love you. Um, and we also get that in this version, this might be in a later scene, but I'm saying it now. She was betrothed to Menelaus by her parents at 16.
Yes.
Yeah.
So kind of classic arranged marriage.
Yes.
Yeah. And in this scene, this is where she's like, "You're gonna leave tomorrow." And he's like, "You could come with me." And I'm like, "God damn it, Paris."
I do think that I mean maybe we'll talk about this later when we talk about the like the true myths guys, but I've never seen a version of this like with the gods, like as
Mhm.
the actual players, the
Yeah.
traditional golden apple to Paris type situation.
Yeah.
But I do find, and I think that that adds and takes away from a lot of things. I do think the thing that I was most intrigued by in this Sans God version is the Paris Helen relationship, which I had always been like, this is magical, this is fake. Like she is, forced by the gods to love this guy and to
Yeah.
like betray her life that she was happy with. And this version of this film really is like, I mean, the Greeks are kind of brutes. Like
Yeah.
Agamemnon and Menelaus are like, big boorish idiots who just want to fight. Not idiots, but like who just want to fight.
Yeah.
And it probably was a pretty shitty life for her. And for her to like kind of fall in love with this guy and abscond with him, and for Hector to be complicit later, which I have a lot of notes on, and for Priam to be, complicit later, and then the Trojans to be like, look, this is the thing of love. This is
Yeah.
about territory or fighting, and Agamemnon's being like, no, this is totally about territory, bro.
Mhm.
Is I think like an interesting rewrite slash
Yeah.
lens, and one that does give some agency to women. So we have to be a little bit happy about that. Rather than just like, hey, magic says you love me now,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
your simple farmhand husband. So yeah, it's intriguing, I think.
I think the absence of the gods in this adaptation is, to me, its greatest sin, and its greatest
Mhm.
weakness. But I think they'd made a lot of smart choices. I think there are a lot of. I don't think I like this movie as much as either of you. But I think there are a lot of choices that they made that I'm like, okay, this is smart. I think you're in these circumstances, you're making a good choice. I like agree with a lot of this. But I think Hannah said earlier, I care so much about these characters. And me, honestly, I watch this, I'm like, I don't. I like,
Mm.
I'm a little, I find y'all a little chuddish and boring. Like, I think I always care about Hector in any version. And I think there's a lot of smart writing choices made with a lot of these characters. So I don't like actively hate them. I'm not like watching
Yeah.
it like, fuck this movie. Like I'm engaged enough, but I don't care enough.
You got to see it when you're 12. I really do.
I wonder.
Yeah, maybe
When
that's
I
what it was.
when I was renting this last night, I walked into the video to Vidiots, immediately went, grabbed the film, and went right to the front. He was like, "Oh, you knew what you were getting," and I was like, "I did."
Hell
He
yeah.
looked at it, and the guy was about my age. And he goes, "There's just something about this movie, man. Like
Yes.
it's just you saw it when you were 12. This probably was like my first big war epic film, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I probably saw it probably a little later than Saving Private Ryan, but I was just like
Mm,
probably not mentally fully there for Saving Private Ryan, maybe Bands of Brothers. But like this was probably my first big like war movie, and it is a very like bro-y like ah.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that it just has a thing. Like I used to do that first move that Achilles does to kill Nathan Jones, where he like dodges the spear, takes 3 jumps and stabs. I used
Yeah.
to do that all the time. Not with
Yeah.
a real sword, but like my sister and I, we would do it all the time. Like it's just a movie that like hits you right in the middle school. Like it really
Yes. Right in the middle school.
right in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that is a big part of it,
Yeah.
and why you're not as connected. But I mean, that opening is just, it really gets you in it, like all the
Yeah.
way through. Basically, that opening 30 minutes before we get to Troy for the first time and they come back is just really setting up these characters as who they are. We've got Paris as the biggest loser in the world, but so, so, so pretty. We've got Hector as noble and true and hot and rugged dad way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Achilles as beautiful and fucky and a little fuck boy,
Yeah.
and Agamemnon as a literal Disney villain. Like
Yeah.
he does an evil laugh,
Yeah.
like an
Yes.
incredible evil laugh. Like
And and to be fair, I would say most of these characterizations are like book accurate or mythos accurate. Like this is like it's a pretty fair translation. Like Paris is a character that as a kid I never liked, but if he wasn't such a coward, he would have been who I liked. So it's like he had
Mm,
all the usual traits that I would pick out of a character I liked, but I was like, oh, but he's such a fucking loser. I can't like
the
him.
wussy
yeah.
boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
you can't help it.
Yeah. So yeah, they're fleeing. He's like, "Look, I brought Helen." And Hector's like, "Oh, brother. Like, oh, come on." And he's like, "Well, I'll fight for her." He's like, "Well, I don't want you to die. I love you." Which is this is we'll get big change. Hector and
Yeah.
Paris being only brothers and giving a shit about each other, big, new, different. So
But also,
Hect
are either of you elder siblings?
No.
No.
Well, I guess technically,
You
yes.
are now.
I am now.
Okay. Well, that sounds complicated and different.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I started with, no, I'm an only child, and then I'm like, oh no, wait. No, I do have a very,
as
very, very little sibling. But yeah.
as the elder, I'm 3 years older than my sister.
Mm,
I love Hector, like everyone else who has
Yeah.
a heart. Like, I love you, I respect you. He's a good man, he's a good father, he's a good general, he's a great fighter. Wow, does he drop the ball as a big brother? Like, you cannot let Paris bring that girl home. Like,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
just can't. There is just, I'm sorry, you got to put on your big brother pants there and be like, you are an actual fuckboy. I will not let us go to war over this. And here's the thing, if you know your brother Paris, he's not gonna go across the sea by himself and fight Menelaus. Like, he's just not.
No.
He's not going to do that.
Well, the
He'll do
other
it
thing
on his
is,
home shore in front of his people to not look like a baby, but
yeah.
you got to stop it. Nip it in the bud right there, Hector.
But this is where I mean, I think he accepts, he's like, it doesn't matter. Because he tells him, turn the ship around, we're going back. But then it's like, well, we already left. Menelaus is probably already freaking out. So he's like, we're already fucked. Like, you've already fucked us. So it's like, I guess we should just go
She
home and
hopped on the
plan it.
ship. She's a stowaway. You see how hot my little brother is. It happens. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Like, we get this line later too when Hector talks to Priam and Priam is like, I've seen it. There's a change in that boy. He's different now. And I'm like,
Right.
what fucking change are you talking about?
No,
Is he
still a
wearing
fuck
less
boy.
eyeliner? He's still a little fuck boy. He's your little fail son prince. Do not get like, this is insane.
He's the spare. Definition of spare. Spare air.
Literally, when Priam greets them, he says, "My son" to Hector, and then he
Uh-huh.
says, "Paris." Like
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, why are we make? I just never understood this aspect of the film, which is just like, and I love love. I believe in it. It's so important. I think it's the best thing we as humans do. But at some point, you can't like
You
if
can't
it'd
put
be
all
one
those
thing
other people's lives at
yeah,
risk.
it'd be one
Yeah.
thing if Paris was Achilles and he was like, "Look, I'm willing to kill everyone for it. Like, I'm gonna John
Right.
Wick this shit."
Yeah.
It's literally
Right.
I'm gonna hide behind my brother and my king and our walls so that everyone. It's just like the ultimate rich kid owner. Like it's
Yep.
such kingly shit, such princely shit that is just. It's just
Yeah.
abominable, and I love Hector so much, but I do think that is like in the traditional like Campbellian story structure, that is like Hector's flaw. Like that is his
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's his big thing that he does that fucks everything up, which is like
Yeah.
His tragic flaw is his love of his family. It's his greatest
love of his
strength and his
family.
greatest weakness. Yeah. Uh they leave. Menelaus goes to Agamemnon. Those Trojan princes took my wife, and he's like, Agamemnon's like, hee hee hee, great. I can use this to conquer
Literally
Troy.
twisting his mustache without twisting his
He
mustache.
does a
Yeah. Because that's the other thing is like Agamemnon, like, does not give a fuck about his brother's wife. He's literally
No.
like, okay, whatever, but I will use this as an eye opportunity to expand my power.
And that's
Um,
so real.
it
That
is.
is when you like, did people give a shit about Franz Ferdinand?
No, they
Did people
definitely had more reasons to go to
Why
war.
are
And they're
we
like, you
at
know what?
war
Great.
right now?
Yes.
Right.
I was like, and also look at everything now. Like,
Yep.
We're at
you know,
war for pistachios and oil.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's very, again, that's why it's like, as much as some of the choices I'm like, oh, I hate that you decided to go this route. I'm like, this is all smart stuff. Like, you're explaining why this war is happening in a more logical sense.
Yeah.
Um, so he plans, and they're like, well, we need Achilles. He's off in his like crop top vest toga thing.
Yes. I was like,
His
this is
crop
what we
top is so
need.
good. I want that outfit.
Literally, like Hector has one too. I called it the crop top poncho. Like, that's
But Patroclus doesn't have one.
No.
no, no, no,
Homeless, however you want to
no.
call it. He's wearing the full. Garrett Hedlund's got the full. Another unknown,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yes.
Really,
Yeah.
the casting. They would have won the casting Oscar. The. By the way, that like Acropolis-y scene with the two of them training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this movie opened with them recruiting Odysseus and doing the like classic Odyssey. Odysseus is pretending to be crazy, and they
Mm.
and Menelaus or whoever it is that maybe Agamemnon like sends the carriage after his son. I was
Yeah.
100% certain that's how this movie opened. This movie has much less Sean Bean than I thought it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like much less
Criminal.
Odysseus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odysseus shows up and is like, "Hey, you're training. Time to go to war. Time for glory."
Because he and Achilles are like besties.
Yeah, because Odysseus is cool. He's the one that
Yeah.
people like.
Yeah.
And he later kind of says, "I have to go along with Agamemnon. I rule a small kingdom, and he could fuck everybody up. So here I
Yeah.
am." And we also get Patroclus is his cousin that Achilles has raised. We're going with a parental relationship.
Instead of
Cousin.
what, Cullen? What
Oh,
what
we'll talk about that. And I think people will be surprised in not the way they're expecting to be surprised in quotation
Gotcha.
marks. Uh
don't touch that dial.
so there he's like, we gotta go, it's for glory. And then he has he goes down to the water where his mother Thetis is collecting shells, and
Julie fucking Christie.
Yep.
she's just like, if you stay, you're gonna have a long life. Everyone will love you, but by the time your grandkids are dead, no one's gonna remember you. But if you go to war, everyone will remember you. They'll be singing your name. And he's like, ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But
that
I
sets up
burned
like,
that kid back there, so I can't
Didn't
go
you
back
remember
now.
yeah, that's the thing is like, this is like by this point, the third thing where we're reminded like all he cares about is his glory and his name being remembered.
He's
They really
Alexander
hammer it.
Hamilton.
They hammer it into our heads.
Yeah. What is a legacy? Yeah. So he's like, I gotta go to this war. Helen arrives in Troy, and Troy, beautifully designed. I like that their togas all have blue. Like, I love color coding, especially in a movie like this. Like, it just helps.
Yeah.
And there we meet Briseis, their
I
cousin,
like
who's
that
now a
you also we get
priestess.
the moment of the gossips as they're like coming down and like some ladies are like, we
Who is that?
who's the hottie? Like you're like
Yeah,
they don't really
exactly.
say anything, but they're just like the washer women whispering to each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ellen is like, I don't belong here. Like
Yep,
I
exactly.
love
He's
that.
like, everyone's gonna notice me. Everyone's gonna be mad at me.
Yeah, and yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not wearing blue, Helen. Didn't you get the memo?
So they arrive, and we get Prime being like, okay, what the fuck? This is okay. We have Helen of Troy, and he's like, okay, Helen, welcome. And Hector's like, they're just kind of like, okay, we're fucked. We'll see what's gonna happen. They're probably gonna invade. Hopefully, we can just de-escalate, but we're kind of
Talk it
past the
out.
point of no return. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get that Briseis is a virgin priestess, and the men are disappointed. Um, yeah. Father, what a waste is the
Yeah.
modern term for that when you get a hot priest. Um, yeah. Let's talk about Miss Baby.
Ooh.
So we're gonna talk about the mythology here. So we got this whole setup for the Trojan War, this very realistic setup. All the pieces are in motion. The Trojan War in Greek mythology is often presented as like kind of the big finale. Like it's not really if you were to try and cram all these disjointed stories into a singular narrative, the Trojan War is like when everything comes to a head. There's even like Zeus is like there's too many demigods, we gotta depopulate them.
Hmm.
Like the Trojan War is like the big finale. Also because it involves the kind of unique character of Thetis,
Hmm.
Achilles' mom. She's a Nereid. So she is a sea nymph, daughter of Nereus, old man of the sea, which I think we talked about this way back in Luca when we were like, here's
Yep.
some sea creatures.
Yeah.
So they're just she's a sea nymph. So not shouldn't be that big of a deal in the pantheon, but then there's a prophecy because everyone kind of wants to bang her. But there's this prophecy that her son will be greater than the father. So Zeus and Poseidon are like, damn, we can't do that. Thetis also at one point I think helps Zeus when Poseidon and Hera are trying to like overthrow him.
Mhm.
Because they try and do that a couple times. And so she's always on the Zeus's side. He's like, oh, I love her, but no. So we gotta marry her to like some beta cuck mortal named Peleus. And then, okay, if his son's greater than him, like we're all good. So it's like a balance of power thing. So they marry her to Peleus. All the gods are invited except for Eris, goddess of discord.
Well,
Uh,
it sounds like she would be a bit chaotic if
I,
she
I,
went. So,
I feel it's like she'd be super chill if she wasn't invited, though, right? Like that seems like a
yeah,
person that you definitely don't invite to things.
yeah.
yes, it's
Sure, she
it's
won't have a response.
It's the OG Maleficent
Uh-huh.
moment. Yeah, she's like,
Turns
oh,
into a dragon, freaks
yeah,
out.
yeah. She gets this actually, people do often touch on this story when they're exploring the history of Snow White, who we will bring up. So she gets a golden apple, big deal in mythology from the Hesperides. She writes on it to the fairest, chucks it in. Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, is obviously again surprise bitch, but you thought you saw the last of me. She's always showing up.
Hmm.
Is like, oh, this is for me, obviously. And then Hera is like, actually, I'm the queen of the gods. It goes to me. And Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, the classic I'm not like other girls goddess, is like, no, it should go to me.
It is
Uh,
wild that Athena jumps in here. I gotta be honest. I don't mean
yeah,
wild from like Athena, a babe. Everyone's a babe. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
Like it is really like an Aphrodite versus Hera situation here. It feels like, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like,
Like
also,
Athena usually is like, I'm above this. And then it's like,
yeah,
looks like you're not, babe. Like,
yeah. Like
Yeah.
she's really like, hold on.
yeah.
Wisdom, vanity,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Artemis is not busy with this.
no.
Persephone, no, they're like, sure, go off.
Yeah.
But Athena's like, no, I'm getting in this fight. And that's how, and I'm not like other girls' girl. Can't be trusted. Uh, Again, I'm one of Athena's top haters. So they get this apple, and they're like, Zeus, you decide. He's like, fuck no. I'm sending this. Let's default this to somebody else. There's this haughty shepherd named Paris, because Paris was a Trojan prince, and it was prophesied he's gonna ruin Troy. So they're like, throw him out to the leopards. But then a shepherd finds him, adopts him. He's living like his cottagecore life. He marries a nymph, having a good life because he's pretty. And they show up, these goddesses show up, and they're like, choose me, who's more beautiful? He's like, well, first, can you strip down? And they do that.
That's crazy.
And then they're like, he's like, oh, it's just really hard to make a
Wait,
decision.
I'm sorry. Are you like recapping like a Fresh and Fit episode, like
Yeah.
like a Manosphere podcast, or
Yeah.
is this actually
Yeah, this
mythology?
is
Like, that's
clavicular. Yeah.
crazy.
Paris
Yeah,
clavicular.
mogging them, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're look smogging these foids or whatever. Yeah.
Um,
Uh so Hera is like, I'm a queen of the gods. I can make you ruler of all of Asia.
mm.
And Athena's like, I can make you a great warrior. It looks like you fucking need it, bro. Like, I can make you a great warrior. And then Aphrodite's like, I could make the hottest woman in the world your wife. And I'm like, Aphrodite, like, she's married. She's like, just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score. Like, that does not stop me.
Wow.
Um, and he's like, yeah, I'm going with her. I'm going with what Aphrodite says. His nymph wife is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he ditches her, goes to Sparta. And let's talk about Helen. Helen of
Mm,
Troy.
let's talk about her.
No one gives a shit about her and how she feels about anything. So she is the daughter of Leda, a Spartan queen. Uh, and she was conceived by Zeus as a swan.
This is the Swan one, of course.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah. This lady slept with her husband and with Zeus as a swan same night. So then
Mm.
she lays eggs, as you do.
As
No.
one does.
And out comes her two divine children and her two mortal children. So Helen is partially divine. That's why she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Clytemnestra is like the Mary Bennett of Greek mythology. She's just like the less beautiful one. And then you get Castor and Pollux, the Gemini,
Mm.
the Discory, the
Mm.
twins, every toxic person's star sign. They're there. And so that's her backstory. And then everyone's like, obviously everyone wants to marry her. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. So Odysseus is like, comes up with this deal that how about we all agree that whoever she picks is her husband, and then we will all fight to support him if anyone tries to get in between them. Just like a mutual self-assured destruction thing. Like we'll keep each other safe. Because at this point he had been a suitor, but he's like, I'm kind of more interested in Penelope now. Like, let's just wrap this up. Wrap it, someone can tap it. And they make the deal, and she picks Menelaus, and they're wed. So she does pick him. He has shapely thighs, according to the Iliad. That's
I
something
mean,
they
Brendan
bring up.
Gleeson has some pretty shapely thighs too. A lot of great men's legs in this movie, I gotta
Yeah.
say. Literally, everyone.
I love the little
Fantastic.
dress things. They're so great.
Love. I think people should bring that back.
I
Let's
am.
bring it back. The
I
Swords and Sandals Summer, literally, guys, get your skirts.
I went I went to the Ren Fair last weekend, so not yesterday like Cullen, but the weekend before, and I will be going again. And I do think that next year I'm going to get a kilt for it. I think
Yes.
that yes, I think I want yeah, you gotta have it be free and flowing,
Yeah,
Yeah. Get
warm.
some
go for it.
circulation. Yeah.
Warm.
Yeah.
Uh, so they're like, so Helen is all good to go. I think she has a daughter with him. But Paris shows up, and this is where people don't give a shit. Is she kidnapped? Does she run away with him? Unclear.
Mhm.
Because her wants and needs, desires don't matter, which is how I always characterize. You can tell the difference between like a mythological epic versus like a fairy tale. And this is, you can kind of trace this through like the chivalric romances, is that like the women do just like they're just kind of there, and the fact that their property is just kind of like just a fact. So like Helen is the most beautiful woman in the world. No one cares how she feels about anything. And then you even a myth like Cupid and Psyche, like a later myth, you have the most beautiful woman in the world, and whether she's personally happy with her life is like the stakes of the story.
Yeah.
And she a lot braver than Paris. She's going to the underworld while pregnant, and then you get to like Snow White, fairest of them all. There's not even the stakes of a kingdom involved. Like in modern adaptations, yes, but like it's just like, is she cool with her life? Is she
Mm.
happy? Like that's the only thing at stake. Like, is she alive, happy, live, laugh, loving, thriving? Like that's what we care about. And that is why sometimes people look at fairy tales and be like, they're so backward and they're so sexist. But if you look at like the history of folk storytelling, they're very progressive because suddenly whether or not a woman is happy with her life is like a stake. Like
Yeah.
it matters how, if like they give a shit how she feels. Like does Gretel want to be eaten by this witch or not? Like, and that's just not something the Greek myths, unless you're a goddess, really concern themselves with. And that's like a very blanket statement. There's obviously a lot of nuance and changes, but I think the Helen to Snow White pipeline is like a very clear example of like they just don't. It's unclear.
The only like what abouts I can think of are ones that then cast these women in traditionally masculine roles, like Atalanta, for example.
Atalanta, yeah,
So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we care what a woman wants to do or can do when she is like an athlete and a warrior and like
yeah. But
someone we can see their value
but
in.
even Atalanta, like
Even her, yeah.
her husband, like throwing the golden apple that he gets from Aphrodite to distract her, and then she's like, "Oh, I guess I'll like you." Like it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, is that like what's going on here? Like it's just a very and I think again, there's a lot of exceptions. It depends on cultures. We're talking about like the Western world. Like there's also like Celtic mythology is very different than like Greek mythology. So
Yeah.
this is like a very blanket
Yeah, yeah, of course.
thing,
I just think it's interesting that when we do care, it's
masculine.
they're men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Athena is cool because she's a warrior.
Warrior and a
Yeah.
twin. Yeah.
Yeah. A
Mm-hmm.
warrior and a twin. Uh so that's the kind of Helen backstory. Now Odysseus, he does not want to go to this war. That's why you reference like Odysseus pretends to be insane and is like plowing his fields with salt, and they like put his son, baby son, out to get him to stop. Like if he was insane, he'd run his kid over, and he obviously doesn't do that. And they're like, okay, you got to go to war.
What a
Uh,
weird test.
yeah,
Hmm.
they love to put babies in danger in olden days. Looking at
Mm-hmm.
you, Solomon. And then Achilles, his mom, and everybody are like, "You're gonna be doomed." So they hide him on this island dressed as a woman. And then Odysseus shows up with all this finery and like dresses and stuff and puts it out. And he puts out like swords. And so all the girls are like, "Ooh, dresses." Then Achilles is like, "I want to touch this sword." And they're like, "Oh, we gotcha."
Another
So
thing antiquity loves is men in drag. I've been watching a lot of K-dramas and anime and stuff with my partner, and we love a pretty man dressed as a woman
yeah,
because everyone's gay. That's why.
because everyone's gay deep
Everyone is
down.
gay. Always.
That's the meaning of Swords and Sandals Summer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this movie, pretty gay.
So gay and
Hmm.
should be gayer, honestly.
Honestly, could be definitely if there was gay sex, but there's only straight sex that we can see. And but everyone was also like eye fucking each other and
So
yeah,
much. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much.
Uh, Now, who is Patroclus? I would say he's been someone who's erased by both big homophobia and big top. Big
Oh,
Big
top,
top.
big
Okay.
top, tops who dominate the narrative. So Patroclus is Achilles' older cousin, who they're like,
Okay.
Achilles is like more noble born, like he's the hot shot, but like you're the level-headed one. So
mm.
you're like the older, smarter one. You're along to kind of keep his like bratty energy in line.
Interesting.
So I know like Madeline Miller's Song of Achilles, very popular. It's often speculated to basically considered a fact that Patroclus and Achilles may have been lovers, though in those dynamics, it's typical for the older man to be the top because it was considered like lower status to receive. And like the biblical ancient world era, that was the big crime was to be a bottom, is because you're receiving, you're taking on the role of a woman, and what's lower than being a woman?
Literally
Uh,
nothing. Oh,
yeah, thanks, Hannah. Yeah, so we
heard it from
really are.
me.
This is
So,
fresh and fit. Yeah. Okay, Pearl. Yeah. Uh,
uh,
so that's why it's like common to make Patroclus younger and more feminine, even a
oh,
healer or something, because it's like, oh, he's the one who dies, he's the one who's mourned, so he has to be like the bottom or like
right,
more feminine, younger. Even in this movie, he's the younger cousin. He can't just be like a beloved older cousin, like mentor figure, because that
right.
might imply that Achilles is the
Is a
bottom,
bottom.
or that the younger person is bottoming someone who's older than them, which also just feels
Oh,
like, you know,
yeah.
unright, And I again want to point out this edition of the Iliad I'm reading is older than the word homosexual in the Bible, but so
Whoa.
yeah, it's just that's why I feel like he's just kind of been erased. Uh both in like modern retelling and in old translation in this movie. He like always has to be shaped into something that's like more comfortable.
Mm.
Uh and I'm not even like I've never given that much of a shit about him as a character. But like so I'm not even like a Patroclus stan coming out. But it's just like, yeah, we who he is as presented in mythology is just not who we get.
Well, it's interesting also that he's almost how do I it's almost like he has been recast as a woman, and I
Mm.
mean this in like traditional masculine patriarchal story
Yeah.
tropes because he essentially gets fridged. Like
Mm.
Yeah.
his death is what makes Achilles rejoin the war, go on a
Yep.
page, become the Achilles that we know, and it's because Patroclus died. He gets fridged. Like when you think about Patroclus, if you know him at all, like what you're saying, Colin, what you
Yeah.
think of is the reaction that his death has to our hero, not anything that he did, not that he was a wonderful bottom or a wonderful top, but just
Yeah.
or that
Yep.
he was like a loving, caring, beautiful person. It was just that when he died, Achilles went fucking feral.
He's
Yeah.
the wife in a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yes,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
exactly.
literally he's the wife.
Yeah. So also we talked about Paris's backstory. There's a lot of references in this movie to Apollo
Mhm.
as a patron of Troy, which partially comes from the fact that Apollo did work for an old king of Troy. He was punished. Apollo and Poseidon were punished, I think, for rebelling against Zeus. And Poseidon and Apollo had to like work for him, and they were treated badly. And they built the walls of Troy, so they were like divinely built, which is why they were so hard to take down.
Mhm.
Um, Now, at the time of the Iliad, it wasn't really until like later that Apollo was really identified with the sun god Helios. They were kind of comboed, and it's definitely more Latin. Um, Really, it wasn't super common until like the first century CE or like first century AD. It's an easier way to like reference, oh, the sun god, as opposed to like he's a deity associated with light and music and like reason.
Right.
And that goes down to like how we often conceptualize polytheistic religions as like you're in charge of this little job and you have these superpowers, as opposed to like this is a being associated with these traits and they all kind of overlap, and it sometimes seems random, but like it's because they're a combination of several different other local deities that kind of morphed over time into just she's the goddess of wisdom. Here's her job. I love when Brad Pitt kind of lists the gods. He's like, let me just list three for you. To
And he
Briseis,
lists them.
yeah.
And he lists
He
them.
lists them. To Briseis, who is a priestess.
And the
Yeah.
priestess
Yeah.
and those things. Rose
Uh,
Byrne, by the way, got to throw out Rose Byrne for Briseis, another unknown, recommended
yeah.
Yeah.
by fellow Australian Eric Dane
Hmm.
at the time. If you haven't seen, I just met her for the first time recently. She's very wonderful.
Nice. Very cool.
I'm gonna go grab something, but it's a visual aid.
Okay.
So keep talking, but I'll
Keep
be
talking.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right. I mean, this is great because I'm bringing up a criminal character who was is criminal that she wasn't included in this movie. That
Oh,
is
okay.
Cassandra,
Okay.
the
Who's
princess of
Cassandra?
Troy.
Oh,
She was beloved by Apollo. He gave her the gift of prophecy. And then she was like, actually, not that into you, man. And he was like, oh, well, now I'm cursing you because men hate rejection. That
oh
Did
my
Apollo.
someone say
goodness.
Apollo?
Oh, no.
This is our
Wait.
cat, my
Oh my
partner's cat. His name is Apollo, but we think that he's a little too derpy, so we mostly call him Paul.
goodness.
I don't think
From
he's beautiful. Oh,
yeah, but he's being Paul right now.
He's so
Yeah.
fluffy.
ah, he's very
Oh my
fluffy.
gosh.
He's beautiful, but I just needed to bring him on the
Amazing.
pod for the Apollo part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
absolutely. I mean,
course.
we
We're
were
talking about
talking
how
about him.
Cassandra got not in this movie for some reason.
Yes, she's not in this movie. She was cursed that no one would ever believe her prophecies. Uh, and she says this whole time, she's like, guys, we're fucked. Don't let Paris back into the family. Don't put this horse in here, guys. Please stop. And everyone's like, I don't know. Cassandra's just going off. Uh, so she's actually, if I were to adapt the Trojan War, I would do like a Cassandra POV, which would be hard because she doesn't do that much. You'd have to like come up with like actions for her to be doing.
Like Chicken Little, basically.
Yeah, she's Chicken Little. I would have the Bare Naked Ladies do a song
Yep,
like they
of
did in the Chicken Little
course.
movie. Yeah. But I think she's so fascinating and relatable sometimes. I feel like in our world, we can be like, guys, oh no, this person is gonna do what they just said they're gonna do, and everyone's like,
You're
no,
crazy.
you're crazy, and then it
Yeah.
happens. Yeah. Uh, Also, Briseis, who is a priestess in this version, the concept of a virgin priestess, while it makes a lot of sense, like modern Christian, mainly Christian Western, like we got nuns culture, wasn't actually that common. It's very common for a priestess to be like a married woman. Sometimes even like that's just debatable how much temple prostitution existed.
Hmm.
The Vestal virgins who worked for the goddess Vesta in Rome were, yeah, they were specifically virgins, and so it really that fits into the Western kind of like concept. And it's not a big deal. It makes sense. We're simplifying things, but I'm just pointing that out. And while we're here, Iphigenia was Agamemnon's daughter,
Mm,
who he sacrificed to go to war because he had pissed off Artemis,
gotta get the
goddess,
win.
yeah, goddess of the hunt and young women. And they're like, you got to sacrifice your daughter to go to war, and he's like, I guess we gotta. And her mom's like, what the fuck? But Artemis kind of spirited her away in the sacrifice, and she goes to be a priestess, which maybe is a win because now she doesn't have to live under her father's control anymore. But
Hmm.
war. We're at the war. They're rowing. Achilles and his men row the fastest. They're
Hell
gonna,
yeah.
yeah,
They say we're going ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
We're gonna take the beach by ourselves. And this I do think is also like just speaking about like the myths and stuff about how like the timeline they change here, which is that like when they get there, typically like Troy is kind of like in the middle, and they basically sack everything around it for like years, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
That's the when he starts storming, I was like, oh, he's gonna go like we're gonna take this town or the temple to show that we're here. Like they are, it's years of getting to the capital.
yeah.
Not in this movie.
I think
One day,
it's just an olden days, olden times. It took so long to do anything.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
I think now just like the modern brain would be like, why are you taking so long?
Yeah.
So we're speeding this up. This is all happening. And I think that makes sense. Like,
It
okay,
works. It
10,
totally works.
10 years to 3 nights maybe is a little too fast of a compression. But yeah, 10 years people would be like, now they're 40. I can't watch a 40-year-old, like
Yeah.
we got to speed things up. But yeah, we get to war. Achilles is like, we're gonna sack this temple. We're gonna kill all the priests. I don't give a fuck about Apollo. I'm cutting off his head. I'm doing a sacrilege.
Hmm.
Can I just jump? What there's again, as with 12-year-old who watched this movie and just thought it was so cool. I used to do the running jump all the time, and
Hell
then
yeah.
there's a move that Achilles does during this sack of the temple, which I attribute this phrase to Shea Serrano of formerly of the Grantland and the Ringer. He's a really great writer who wrote an article about like the disrespectful dunk index in like basketball, like how disrespectful a dunk is.
Yeah.
Applied it to movies, specifically to John Wick. Just when like someone in an action movie is just like so good at what they do that they are just like they disrespectfully kill you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There's a move when Achilles has two swords in his hands, basically, where in one arm he brushes aside a guy's shield, and with in the same motion, it's like whoosh. He
Yeah.
like pushes aside the shield like it's nothing and just stabs a dude. Like they do such a good job in this film of making Achilles seem so much stronger than everyone else, despite not being Ajax's size.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he like you can see why it's funny for a story that is so God dependent and in a world that is so God reverent. This movie does such a good job with its main characters of being like Hector and Achilles both are like the gods are not here, guys. It's us.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
we are the one who are gonna stab. So unless Apollo's gonna come down here and smite me, I'll chop off this fucking thing's head. And it's just great. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something that I felt is very 2004 about this movie. And it's very I'm just gonna say it. I think straight white men are so used to being so directly represented that they're like, so I'm a straight white guy who's like not really religious. And it'd be so hard for me to relate to another straight white guy from olden times who's like now religious. And it's like they like so he can't be. And I'm always like, so everyone else has to learn to connect with people who are different. And you can't even be like, oh, this person is part of a slightly different faith tradition than what I'm used to. And they're like, I can't comprehend that. So it creates this
Yeah.
like these people showing disdain for the gods in like this very like they have to Judeo-Christianize the religion too in order to make the disdain more
Well,
relevant.
it's like
And I'm like,
in
this is
this
a different,
movie,
yeah,
is Achilles' father the old man of the sea? Or is it, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Where does it?
It's just like it doesn't I get that, especially because I get like we want to be human. I get the idea of we don't want all the supernatural stuff, but then it's like what really is the point of this? Uh
I
and
think
like
they just didn't want to have that many characters. And so if they
yeah.
want to cut down the number of characters, we have to determine, are we doing supernatural god stuff or are we not?
Yeah.
And
Are
if
we
we
cutting
are, we have to figure
everyone
out,
fun, cool, and interesting?
right. Okay, well, I
The
take a
humans
lot
are
of
also fun,
shame
cool, and
with that.
interesting. Calm down.
Uh I don't know. I was just like, okay. But like again, I think I agree with a lot of these choices on a conceptual level. I just think as we go into Swords and Sandals month, we're gonna see this Achilles thing repeated in a couple other movies at the very least. And I
Absolutely.
think to me it's just like they in order to process a different experience, they have to adapt it to something more modern. They have to take this religion, make it Judeo-Christian, and then reject it because they've rejected like a Judeo-Christian worldview. And you're like, the Judeo-Christian worldview doesn't need to be here. We don't need to have it in this
Right.
movie. It doesn't exist for these characters. Like, why are
Right.
you
Literally, it doesn't.
like, why are we doing this? And it's because it's like to me, it's like they just can't relate to someone who's not exactly them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like that person that you're writing class who's always writing a character who's them. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Uh,
That hit really close to home. As two people who went to grad school together in a writing program.
yeah.
Another, just before we move,
Yeah.
again, this scene is really great. We get another Achilles fucking banger. Immortality, take it, it's yours.
Take it,
I
it's
definitely
yours.
gave a version of this speech before a rugby match.
Oh
High
yeah.
school for sure. We used to always we did the Conan speech. We would always do movie speeches. It's so fun. But that is great. I also just have in my notes, he is so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
He really just is.
Really.
It's a really
Yeah.
beautiful man.
I mean, he launches that lance across the field at people.
Even Hector is like, oh my
Oh,
God. Hector gets a little hard from it. Like,
yeah.
absolutely. He's like,
He's
that's a beautiful
scared. He's
man.
like, that's not real.
Hmm.
That was
But
CGI, says Hector.
Yeah.
Hector's crew does some dumb shit too. They walk into this narrow temple hallway, and I was like, this looks like a Lego trap, like in a Johnny Thunder Lego set where the skeletons are gonna come flying at you. It's like you
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when they just walk in and we get these priests who are unarmed, and Achilles is like, up blows to them. But we get this like, I'm gonna let you go because I don't want it to end like this.
Yeah, it's go back home. Make love to your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drink wine,
Drink
enjoy
wine.
it, because I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Tomorrow
He's
we
like,
can fight on.
it's too early in the day to kill princes, right? Is that what
Yeah,
Such a good line.
this line?
Such a
Yeah.
good line.
yeah. So Hector runs off. We have this war, and they're like, "Damn, the Greeks are here. Achilles is scary." But the priests are like, "Well, the farmer saw this bird, so like the gods are sending us omens." And Hector's like, "The fuck?" And then this is where we get like Achilles is cool because he's not a rapist because they bring Briseis to him. They're
Mhm.
like, we found her hiding in the temple, and he's all sexy, dirty. He's giving this is again post Viggo Mortensen's Aragorn, like,
Yeah.
and he's all like, "Oh, do you want this fruit? Do you want me to wash you? Like, let me." Like, he cuts free of her like bondage, and she's all like, "Get away from me!" Like, and he's all like, "All right." Why do you serve the? She's like, "You're a killer." He's like, "Well, you serve the gods. Zeus, god of thunder, Athena, god of wisdom, Apollo, god of the sun,
And
and
he lists them.
Ares, god of war.
And then she
Uh,
was like, oh, well, of course they should all be respected. And yeah, he's trying to like, yeah, he's trying to be like, where are your gods now kind of thing.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, just kill me, whatever. And he's like, no, uh, and you get Sparks. He like
Yeah.
kind of leans in, but he is,
Respectful
respectful
in
quotation
quotes.
mark.
Yeah.
I do think so. You're dealing with. I talk about this a lot, like when you're adapting an old story and you have a dynamic that's inherently icky and you're trying to work around it. And I think they did a lot of smart things to work around it. And
Yeah.
then there are movies that put something icky in that didn't need to happen. I always bring this example up, Jacob imprinting on that baby in Twilight. Like
Yeah.
nobody made Stephanie Meyer do that. She just
No.
did it. Like this,
Yeah.
the world, the history of humanity made Game of Thrones guy deal with she's a captive. And he's like, how am I going to work around this?
Yeah.
So I will give him props for like the writing that he did to get around it.
Yeah.
He didn't just fully rely on Brad Pitt being hot. Because
Yeah.
if we think of like Mirror Mirror, when they're just like, what's his face? The cannibal,
Army Hammer.
Army Hammer. It was just like Army Hammer's hot, right? And then you're like, oh, this isn't great now, and it's gonna only age
But
worse.
what I want to say, we don't want to give Benioff too much credit
Right.
because ultimately, I think from like a storytelling perspective, why they make this a consensual relationship is not to like make it a consensual relationship. It's so that when Agamemnon later takes Briseis, like this whole movie is centered on Achilles is the hero and he fights with Agamemnon, his bloodthirsty commander. And
Yeah,
so like if it's just I have a slave and you took my sex slave and I want like you took my boom boom, I want boom boom with her.
yeah.
Then we're like, you're being a fucking idiot. But if it's like, oh, you took his woman who he has like been respectful and lovely towards, like, yes, it is a good thing they did, but maybe the motives are like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
it does not come from a feminist place, I would say. It comes from we want to root for Achilles as our good guy,
yeah.
Yeah.
and we're trying to like make this a more acceptable relationship to an
Yeah.
audience. And this we need a big romance because it's a big epic, and it can't be with Cuckboy Paris, and it can't be gay with your his cousin.
Can't be gay
So
with your cousin.
so here we are. Who we got? Okay, this kidnapped lady. Here we go. So yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it is just to make him look good, but I think in some ways it was achieved. Again, we know I don't care about these characters
And
that
also the
much.
fact
I
that
I don't root for this romance really, but
the
We do
fact
get
that
Achilles. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
she she is a virgin, she's given her life and her body to the gods, and spoiler alert, they end up having sex, which is read as consensual,
yeah,
and multiple times. And
Hey,
that
oh.
means he's so good, as like she sees goodness in him because she was pure. She gave him her purity, so he
yeah.
must be good. Like that's how we read that,
It's
So
also very
he really plot devised
2004.
her very hard.
Yeah. It's very also 2004. He's such a man that she no longer wants to be a
Yeah,
virgin. Yeah, it's like,
Well, we do see his butt in the director's cut in that scene
and that
again.
changes everything.
He's
it does.
so tan and his butt is so white, and it's.
Nice.
Yeah. She's like, you know what? Apollo's ass isn't here for me to grab. He's not here
Yeah.
doing this war, and his ass isn't
Well,
here for me to
he even
grab.
has a line somewhere in their, banter where he was like, why do you decide to like marry the gods? Won't you find the romance is one-sided?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not reading as romantic.
No.
Like, but she
Again,
would smash.
she would smash. And also, again, you're imposing like marrying the gods as like a nun. The nuns are brides of Christ. You're like
Right.
imposing that modern concept, more modern,
Yeah.
on like that's not what a priestess was to these
Right.
people. But like, sure. Um, we get Agamemnon takes her because he's like, I want her, and Achilles is like, I will kill every last one of you for her, and I refuse to fight.
Well, he doesn't want her. He wants to piss off Achilles.
Yeah.
Agamemnon just needs to be in charge, and he needs
Yeah.
Achilles to understand that. And he doesn't understand that he just has the greatest weapon that he will just continue to use if he just isn't a dick to it, but he can't.
because he needs to, he feels cucked by
Yeah.
Achilles too. Achilles is more powerful, so he doesn't like relying on him. He's like, I'm the king. People will remember me, not you. I have your woman. And he gives her to the soldiers to like play with. And Achilles fucks them all up, brings her back. Things get spicy. In the middle of the night, he wakes up to the knife on his throat. And then he's like, yeah, do it, kill me. And then this leads into them having sex. Which is, I'm like, you know what? Again, like you're trying to make it, okay, she's a captive, but she wants to do this. So like literally here's like if she didn't want to, she could kill him right now.
Mhm.
Like, I'm like, you know what? If you're written into that corner, I guess that's a good choice to make.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is a captive relationship, but we all love Beauty and the Beast.
Do we?
Dude,
Do all of us? We? The royal we?
the royal we, depending on which version.
Ah.
Hmm.
Uh, you know,
Yeah, I like the French one we
I'm a
watched.
beast.
I'm a
I'm
beast.
a beast. Je suis beast.
Uh,
Uh, this war's happening. I guess Ajax is here. He gets killed by Hector.
Ajax is like Achilles' biggest fan. He's like, I'm so honored to be fighting with you.
And Achilles is like, oh, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Very
he's like
large.
fanboy.
He's like,
Yeah.
are you the major or the lesser Ajax? Which one are you?
Right, exactly.
There's always got to be two. It's like in the Bible, we got James the Greater, James the Lesser. We got Ajax the Greater, Ajax the
I
Lesser.
know I saw They Will Kill You a couple days ago in theaters.
Mm.
Afterwards, I went and looked on the IMDb to see who was in it and stuff like that. And there are these two characters who are never named, which is uh it's like it's like tall Steve and short Steve.
Love.
Even they were going for it. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's because Achilles is refusing to fight. So the Greeks are getting their asses handed to them by the Trojans and their big ass walls. And Agamemnon's strategy is just to charge, which famously is what failed the French in the Hundred Years' War, but he doesn't know that yet because the lugging
Yeah,
it
it hasn't
off.
happened yet.
Yeah, so he's still going for it,
So
and
really, the French should have known better.
yeah, really. And the beast, the Je suis beast, Je suis charge. So the
I
archers,
am charged.
I am charge. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for my trip. So yeah, the archers are just shooting them down, and they're using like a phalanx formation to just rampage through the Greeks as they just blindly charge at them. And Achilles and his guys just watch and they're like, ooh, they're fucked. But we
Yeah.
get this duel between Paris and Menelaus because they're like, theoretically, this is
You
about
you guys should be dealing with this and we'll
personally.
all watch and
Yeah,
then everything will be fine. We will accept whatever the result is. Sure. Sure
sure.
you will.
Because
But okay.
Agamemnon is like, because they're like, we give Helen back, we give back her dowry and whatever. And Agamemnon's like, no, you give her back and you swear obedience to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
And Hector is like, no son of Troy will ever fight for a foreign ruler. And then Agamemnon says, then all of the sons of Troy will die. Brian
Die.
Cox is giving in this
Yeah,
movie, and he's having a great time.
He's having
yeah.
such a good time.
And it just makes you also like, yeah, fuck yeah, Hector. Because it's like, yeah, we don't want our people fighting for this evil foreign power,
Yeah.
out there. Who can imagine that? Out there dying for a foreign power.
Cringe.
Cringe. So we get this duel, and it's like ahead of time. Prime is like, here's the sword of Troy. You really love her. You can do this. You can fight. And everyone's like, Paris?
You gave him the family heirloom? Oh,
He's
okay.
famously more of a bow guy. Like,
Yeah.
Famously.
They're like, women have always liked Paris. It's just he found the one that's just the death of him. He fucked way too close to the sun.
Yeah.
And we get this duel, and we get Helen going up there to watch, and Priam being like, come sit next to me,
Mhm.
uh, being kind and welcoming to her. And we get Paris getting mogged,
Whooped.
getting,
Literally,
getting
yeah.
battle mogged, is that what we're calling it now, in front of everybody.
and
Menelaus
he
just kicks
comes
his ass. Crawl.
crawling to Hector. I don't know why this scene is so sad to me. I'm
It
just like,
is.
God, he's such a wimp. And like Hector is like, this is so embarrassing. Like, you need to fight. Even like King Priam is like, fight him. And no, he's
Or
like
just
cowering. Like,
just let
Orlando
him
Bloom is,
behead you. They're like, okay, you lost. Die now, please.
yes. They're like, you need to do this. This is a pact. And Agamemnon is starting to be like, they're going back on their pact. Like, they're about to like completely attack. And, but this is where you see like, I think Orlando Bloom does a really good job, not to start talking about performances in this crazy movie, but like he looks like a little boy. It's
He's
like
so
it
yeah.
it really gets me. I'm like, this is just a baby. This is a kid. Like, and Hector is very much like much more mature and experienced because Paris, what, has probably never actually seen battle at this point.
He's never
Yeah, they
seen
said
that.
he's never seen battle, and
Yeah.
Hector kills Menelaus because he's like, that's my brother, because he's
Yep.
there
I mean,
counting at his feet.
every time I see this movie, I think he's just gonna brush aside Menelaus.
No.
Another, again, like Hector just fucking weak spot is Paris. Like,
Yeah.
don't have to, like, he goes, "Arr," and then Hector just stabs him through the side. And it's like, that is actually, like, not good job.
No.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be our moral,
They
like,
could have outrun him. They could have outrun Brendan Gleeson, you
yeah,
know. They could
and
have
his shapely
pulled him to the
thighs.
horse and
Yeah,
his very
yeah,
shapely
just
thighs.
smack him away, kick him back. But, like, at that point, now you are really like, yeah, we are, like, you broke the rules, man. Like,
yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. You broke the rules. And on top of that, you are causing like a great shame to Agamemnon. Like you have like
you killed his brother.
spit in his face. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
your brother was supposed to die because he was one of the problems in this. This was their conflict.
hmm
But because you intervened on his behalf and killed his brother, it's like
well,
that's
and it's not
insulting.
like they had, Fox News back in the day, but there
Right.
was some level of, and now the story here is Hector was a coward. Hector broke the laws of gods and men. Hector went against the agreement. Like it
yeah,
just makes it, it's a real, there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Like, you know what I mean? It's really
yeah,
giving the enemy a talking point
Yeah.
they don't need.
Yep.
yeah.
You can't watch your little brother die, which I understand. Like, I do understand his, but just
Mhm.
the way that he goes about it, I think is, again, maybe Hector's the himbo.
Maybe,
He's a
yeah.
Maybe
very
we're all the himbo.
The himbo was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
It is, well, it's like you get why he did that, but it is now, even you can't even be like, just give Helen back to Menelaus because Menelaus is dead. And now
yeah,
it's just Agamemnon's land grab excuse.
yeah.
You got rid of everything else.
But also, you've
Um,
given Agamemnon now a reason to attack, other than I'm attacking to back up my brother.
yeah.
You kill the brother, it's like, okay, well, now Agamemnon has a right to attack, like based on their rules at
Yeah.
this time. It's like, yeah,
And we get Paris with, because he does get the sword back. He runs up.
Sprints back for it
We
yeah.
get
before the charge.
My dad is already disappointed. If I lose the family heirloom, he's gonna kill me.
and now, yeah, they all wish you died, but he's up there with Helen, and
I
she's like,
know.
yeah, Menelaus was a great warrior, but I want someone I can grow old with. I want someone who loves me and who's hot and who doesn't make me want to walk into the ocean.
And it was
Eh,
brave that you challenged him and then ran
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, she
yeah.
really gives him a lot of grace based on their rules of their society. Like he's basically like, I'm a wimp, aren't I? And she's like, no, it's an
No.
avocado.
But
Like,
it's,
thanks, like, yeah,
but it's like, grow old with, girl, you're gonna die.
yeah.
Like, so this is where let's check back in with mythology. Briseis and Agamemnon, that whole thing. So basically, the Greeks defiled the temple of Apollo in mythology. And you know how in this movie they're like, oh, is Apollo going to strike us down? Yes. He shot down. That's why I'm like, okay, I get you're trying to like force a narrative here, but you're literally going the opposite of the story you're adapting. Uh, he just shoots plague arrows as a god of healing. Him and Artemis just rain it down. they're dying of plague, and they're like, well, we got to give this priestess we kidnapped back to her dad. And then Agamemnon's like, well, no, I'm a sex toy down. So he takes Briseis from Achilles. And Achilles is like, what the fuck? I'm not going to fight for you anymore. And his mom, Thetis, is like, Zeus, Daddy, I know, like, you wish you could bang me and you can't, but just like, could you, like, maybe make sure that the Greeks suffer and die and become little losers because they insulted my son? And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. So that's what's happening for most of the Iliad. He's like, well, I promised Thetis this. Um, Now this is where in the Iliad, the whole concept of Thetis dipping Achilles in the river Styx by his ankle or his heel, and that's why he's immortal except for his heel. That is a common myth, but that actually isn't in the Iliad or referenced at all.
Oh,
Um, because Achilles doesn't die in the Iliad. It
right.
ends before he dies.
Yeah.
But that is a story that is commonly told. And this movie does as because it's absent of supernatural elements, doesn't seem to be going with that. It's just he's the best around. Um, Menelaus and his shapely thighs win the duel with Paris. But and Paris is a coward, but Aphrodite intervenes and whisks him off mid-battle. She just shows up, scoops him up, and then the gods do this thing where they disguise themselves as other people a lot. So she disguises herself as this old lady that Helen likes and is like, Helen, you should go to your bedroom and fuck Paris. And she's like, what? And then she's like, it's me, Aphrodite. She's like, oh. And then she's like, Aphrodite, fuck you for making me come here. Like, I'm pissed at you. And Aphrodite's like, how are you talking to me? I'm gonna slap you. Like, I'm a goddess. Like, don't just because I've blessed you so much doesn't mean like you can disrespect me. And then Helen's like, I guess Paris is still kind of hot, and they have sex. But it's like, again, it's still hard to tell if she's like, I hate Paris, I love Paris, or if she's just kind of making the best with what situation she's in. Um, but Priam and Helen sitting together is a thing in the Iliad because
Oh.
Priam's one of the few people that doesn't just hate her because she doomed them all. So he's like, oh, like point out who you know. And she's like, oh, that's Odysseus. I can tell that's him. That's Menelaus. That's Agamemnon. That's Ajax and Nestor. She's like, where are my brothers? But they're dead already. She just doesn't know that.
Yikes.
Why does everyone blame Helen and not Paris?
Woman.
Yeah, duh.
No, no. Yeah.
Tag
Like,
yourself. Who's fresh, who's fit? Like,
Yeah.
duh, it's a woman.
It's Pandora. She'd be opening that box.
Dumb bitch.
Yeah.
that's also what Helen did. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah.
Ugh.
Uh, so the gods also come down to fight a lot. So we get things erupt because now everyone's like, where did Paris go? What do we do? Then Athena's like, I'm going to disguise myself as a Trojan and get them to start fighting. So then the Trojans break the pact. And
Mm.
then she goes to Diomedes, who's like the number two warrior after Achilles, and is like, I'm with you. We're making you a winner. He hurts Ares and Aphrodite. Ares, god of war, gets really pissed and is like, Zeus just lets Athena do whatever she wants. And Zeus is like, I hate you. Uh, you're ugly. I hate you. You're a bad warrior. You're bloodthirsty. If you were any other god, if I wasn't your dad, I would have thrown you into hell because
And you
I'm your dad.
stink.
Yeah, because I'm your dad. I guess you're here on Olympus. But he hates
Wow.
him. And then Aphrodite comes to save her son Aeneas. And Athena is like, oh my gosh, Diomedes, like, don't fight a god, but maybe just like throw your spear at Aphrodite because it'd be so funny because I hate her. And he throws the spear at her hand. She drops Aeneas and runs off. And then Apollo is like, okay, I'll get Aeneas to safety. Uh, and then back in heaven, Hera and Athena are like, maybe Aphrodite got like stuck with one of her lady's pins because she should be doing girly things, not war. And part of this is like propaganda, in that Aphrodite was related to gods, ex-wife, Astaret, Ishtar, like a Near Eastern love and war goddess who's kind of imported from the East, which was where Troy is set. So the fact that she's with Troy makes a lot of sense. And there's also this idea of classical Greece trying to like defang her or like de-war her, but she was a war goddess in some places, but other places were like, no, she is not a war goddess. And so this is like part of that love and war separate
Mm.
thing. Um, and this is also Hector shows up and is like, Paris, you suck. He like shows up at the house and Helen's like, sit down. And he's like, Helen, I don't have beef with you, but like, Paris, you're a coward. And Paris is like, I'm just getting my armor back on. It's like, well, people are out there dying because of you. So like, I need you to hurry the fuck up. And Paris is like, go ahead of me. And Hector's like, I wish hell would swallow you. I wish you were dead. Because in this they have so many. Prime has so many sons and so many daughters, like 50 sons or something. So he's like, you're
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
least.
That's like he's like famous for that mythologically, right? Like he's
Yeah,
like that's why Troy is so
big.
powerful
Yeah, they have all these princes.
because he can't stop coming.
Yeah. And so that's why Hector's like, Paris, you're the least useful of all of us, and I hate you. And he goes to his mom Hecuba and is like, go pray to Athena. She's our city's patron goddess. Like all the women should go pray and be like, save us. And Athena's like, no, I hate you because Paris said Aphrodite was hotter. So it just says the prayers fall on deaf ears. Athena does not give a fuck about these women. And Hector sees his wife and baby because they went out to watch for him. And we get this moment where the baby is scared of Hector and his armor. And then when he takes the armor off, he's like, oh, daddy. And his wife is like, please don't go and die. And Hector's like, I got to defend the city. And she's like, Achilles already killed my entire family back home. My brothers, my father. And it's like, is he going to kill them here? And then I'm going to go be a slave woman somewhere. And Hector's like, I get it, but I can't just not fight.
Mm.
Uh, so it's just very tragic for Hector and Troy. Also, I mean, I'm summing up a lot real quick. Hera has this plan because Zeus is like, God, stop interfering. So her and Athena try and ride out, and Zeus is like, the fuck did I just say? Stay back in. And so Hera and Poseidon team up. Hera gets the god of sleep and borrows something from Aphrodite by lying to her, by being like, I'm just trying to like Oceanus and Thetis, the immortal water titans who raised me, are like having marital problems. I just want to like help them. And Aphrodite's like, oh my gosh, sure, I love love. And then Hera's like, actually, I'm using this to seduce Zeus. So he's distracted and falls asleep, and Poseidon can cheat. And so she does that. And Zeus is like, damn, like you're so hot. Like, almost as hot as the first time we had sex, but like, and he starts listing other women he slept with. Like, but like,
Mm.
he's like, oh, but like Leto and Demeter and Samir, but you're like even hotter than them.
Classic.
And you know what? Women love that.
Yeah.
So
Hera's literally like, oh my God, sure, yes.
thank you for telling me.
What
Uh,
a fucking
And
hero.
not, but okay, so wait, am I hearing this right that not only did he list out other people he slept with, he was like, but you're one of the good ones.
You're one of the
yeah.
good
Like
ones.
he rated her inside of this list.
Top 10,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, it's like, God damn.
And I have a lot of experience.
Yeah, he's like, so I know a thing or two. I
I've
know
Yeah.
been
what
to
I'm
every
talking about.
country in the world, and you're the best one.
You're the
One
best
of the
one.
best ones to fuck.
One of the best,
Yeah.
almost as good as when we were sleeping together without our parents knowing, because yeah, we're siblings. Uh,
Yeah.
s-
Wow.
so, but Poseidon's cheating, and then he wakes up and is like, "Oh my gosh, the Greeks are winning. I have to let them not win because I promised Thetis that they wouldn't win until Achilles could have his revenge." So he sends Iris, goddess of the rainbow, and Apollo to save Hector. Iris is like, Poseidon, back the fuck up. Zeus is stronger than you. And she's like, you're gonna say that to Zeus? Because he's like, we allotted that like he gets the heavens, I get the sea, Hades gets the underworld, and the earth is split among us. That Zeus isn't in charge. And she's like, well, Zeus can whoop your ass. So line the fuck up. And then Apollo saves Hector, heals him, gives him strength. And Zeus is like, guys, these are my orders. He gathers all the gods and it's like, we're not fighting, we're not interfering until like Hector is gonna have to kill Patroclus, and Achilles is gonna kill Hector, and then Troy will fall. So I'm just biding my time until that happens. I know you guys want Greece to win right now because you hate the Trojans, but you have to wait. This is the plan. And he has this meeting in front of all the gods. He summons even like the dryads and like the meadow nymphs. And I'm like, imagine being the nymph of some meadow, and you're like, I gotta go to this council about
Yeah.
this war. It's like, great, I care so much. Can I go back to my buddies? Like, that's my job. Uh, so back to the movie. We get Achilles and Briseis hooking up. He's ready to leave. And Patroclus is like, what about war? Uh,
Yeah. Patroclus is very much like a Greek's Greek. Like he's very much like the Greeks, they're dying because, we need to be out there.
Yeah, which is like weird because I remember specifically that line. I was like, is there even a like, yes, Menelaus is, I mean, sorry, Agamemnon is like the king of the Greeks, but this movie treats it like that's more of like a, I conquer and now we are Greece. But it doesn't really
Right.
seem like there is a, we are Greece. Greece is our national identity. So when Patroclus is like, the Greeks are dying, I'm like, you mean the fucking Mycenaeans and the, like, I'm,
Yeah, because I think even like there's a point where Hector tells like his council, he's like, well, the people that Achilles runs, like they weren't fighting today, like on the battlefield. So it's like they know that there's like a split.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah, that is kind of weird. It's like they're separate groups, but they are Greeks. But it's like I don't know if they really establish that because it seems like all the kings also hate Agamemnon and
Agamemnon.
they're just there because they're like he's so powerful. Like,
Yeah, and we also get a lot of like Hector is like, don't attack, and the priests are like, well, the gods sent this omen, and we gotta go kill them all, and this is our chance. And Priam is like, okay, great, yeah, I agree. And Hector's like, we're going with omens, birds, and dog. Like I'm out here struggling. I just killed Ajax. We're tired. And they're like, yeah, their morale's low, go out. And so this attack happens, and Patroclus, disguised as Achilles, but nobody knows that, is there, and they're all excited. And
yeah,
Achilles,
because even Achilles has told his people, don't go.
don't
yeah,
go.
And then they're like, wait a second, that's Achilles. We have to go. He's calling us. It's like, oh.
And also, if you were watching that scene and you're like, that sure does look like Brad Pitt, it was.
And then the helmet reveal, it's like, oh, that's not Brad Pitt.
It's no longer Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
yeah,
But when he first starts running out, it's like it looks like a kind of a close-ish shot, and you're like, oh, that's Brad.
yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
So he gets killed by Hector because he's a good fighter, but not that good. He's like, I've been trained, but whatever. And then Hector's like, ooh, I feel bad. I just killed this boy. I think we're done today. He's like, I think we all go home. And they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I do love that like idea of like this is a massive armies fighting each other, and they're massive by their standards, not but anyway, but still, just like the concept of like there's one-on-one battle happening like on the fringe over there, and then we're like stop the war. Like think about how long it took some like Japanese soldiers to like not fight on random islands. Like
yeah.
how long did that message get to the other side of like, hey, we're done for the day, guys? Like how many people died in that intervening?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that at minimum 30 minutes it
Yeah,
took to get all that. I've tried to
Yeah.
get people in a building to get a message. We know how long it takes.
yes.
There was no Slack. Uh so the war group chat, well, there is one now. But
Yeah.
uh they're done fighting. But Achilles freaks out, does some DV. Um mm,
Yeah. Well, also
hits Eudorus and
he ha
Briseis.
yes, he has a gamer moment where I thought was like when you want to punch a wall or punch a hole into the drywall, but that doesn't exist, so you have to punch your bro.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. And yeah, and then he like chokes out Perseus
It is
and
tough to see Brad Pitt choke a woman.
yeah,
Yeah.
knowing what we know
Especially
now.
what we know. That was tough.
But also in general, even if we didn't have if we
In
had
general. Yeah,
known it,
in
it's just
general.
like, wow, that's shocking.
Originally, my note said seeing Brad Pitt choke a woman in the year 2026, and then I deleted in the year 2026 and went,
Yeah,
it's just always bad.
always, always bad, always not great.
Tough.
Yeah, a woman
Yeah.
that he's supposed to be in love with.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he's freaking out, and this is where I'm like, but this relationship is so underdeveloped.
In this movie,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, that I'm like, I don't believe him having this meltdown because I don't even feel like, oh yeah, he's like a son to him, which is I think what they're going for, but like we don't get enough of that.
It's like they wanted to give, they should have just made them brothers. I think that would have made it, we would have bought into it a lot easier because they don't have enough time to develop their brotherly relationship. But I think Hector and Paris don't have a strongly developed like brother love until like a little bit later. Well, maybe not,
I believe
but
that Hector loves Paris.
But do you
yeah,
think
I guess
that's because of
so.
their relationship, or do you think that's because of the character of Hector, who is a noble, upright person who loves his
Maybe
country, who loves his wife, who loves his
he's
brother,
all about
who loves
loyalty. Achilles
traditional
has no
traditional
loyalty.
morals? Yeah, and Achilles is
Yeah,
a hot badass.
I did write Hector is a country singer because at one point he's
Yeah,
like, I believe in loving the gods, loving your wife, and fighting for your country. And I'm
yeah.
yep.
like, and
Hell
drinking a
yeah.
cold one with the
Cracking open a
boys.
cold one with the
Truly,
boys. Hell
yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't know Hector was playing at the Turning Point USA halftime
Hector is a
show.
Republican.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, they're like, this is where Achilles freaks out. And Hector's like, there's no way out. I'm gonna have to fight Achilles. He's probably gonna kill me. My wife, here's how you get out of here. Here's a tunnel. We have a secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
We're gonna get out of here. Take as many people as you can, because otherwise they're gonna throw the babies off the walls and kidnap you.
Yeah.
And that's true. So uh she's like, I don't want to think about this. He's like, sorry. And we get this like getting dressed montage. I'd love to see a version of this montage set to like that song Perfect Day, like the beginning of Legally Blonde. um, but it's like that's where I was like, damn, he's so hot as he's like putting on his armor and she's sleeping the way no one sleeps, like halfway across the bed, like, oh,
Yeah. She's
but
sleeping side saddle. Like that's what I
yeah,
thought. I was like, because her knees are like bent to the side and like legs hang out.
yeah.
I was like, side saddle? What?
She
Sometimes when you have a bed alone and you don't usually have it alone, that's how you sleep. You know, you get
You
yeah.
excited
sleep side saddle? Is that what you're admitting
sometimes.
to?
Yeah.
I think she's also like, this could be the last my husband sees of me. I'm sleeping hot.
I'm
I'm
sleeping
giving him a
hot.
hot memory.
Yep,
And I'm like, go,
exactly.
you go, girl.
And you
Yeah.
know what? We haven't talked
Good
about
for
her. She
her.
is very hot. Good for
She
her.
is.
Gorgeous.
Got the
Yeah.
lips, the
Yeah.
eyes. Good for them. They're probably like the hottest couple in Troy,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna be like the crown princess. She has an heir. That's why Paris is spare. It's like
Hmm.
we got the heir and he's got a son. So she's like, yeah, so she really gets the real raw end of the deal in this whole story. Because he's like, what? So she's like, okay, so he's going off to fight, does not kiss her goodbye.
No.
Uh, Alexander, come back to bed.
Well,
I've
because
got an early meeting
well,
out of
she's
town.
awake, because she's saying like, don't go kill Hector. He's a good man.
No, that's
And
Briseis.
oh, I thought you were talking about
No, we're
Perseus.
talking
No,
about Andromache.
Andromache.
Andromache. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
but
gotcha, gotcha.
Briseis is like, he's my cousin. He's a good man. And he's like,
Yeah,
well, he killed my cousin.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, yeah, which you know what? No, there's a narrative cul-de-sac I was going to go around. This episode's long enough. I was like, no, we're not doing that. So we get the classic duel moment where Hector goes out and is like, can we at least make a pact to have all the honorable funeral rites? And
Yeah,
he's
and Achilles
like,
goes, "Fuck you."
he says, men don't make pacts with lions, which is
Yeah.
from the Iliad. That is a quote from the Iliad.
He just
Wow.
all bangers though.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
all one-liners for sure.
So good. Before my time is done, I will look upon your corpse and smile.
Oh yeah, he says that to Agamemnon. Yeah. So he is like, I'm gonna kill you. I don't give a shit about funeral rites. You
I'm
killed
gonna
my
cut out your tongue and cut off your
You'll
ear
have no eyes. I'm gonna cut out your tongue, and you're gonna be deaf,
to
and
the
you're gonna be
pain.
wandering.
Yeah.
to the pain.
You're gonna be wandering, and everyone's
Uh,
gonna be like, "Wow, that's Hector, the guy who thought he killed Achilles."
Ugh.
Z
and I'm like,
snaps.
so is that the real thing that bothers you? That
Yeah.
someone thought they could
Yes,
kill you, not that they fucking killed your cousin,
that's what I think it is.
Achilles.
I think it's just his pride. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Oh,
he
and what do lions live in?
a
prides.
pride.
Wow. So there we get this fight. It's epic. It's
Sick.
brutal. It's yeah.
It's a pretty fair fight for most of it, unlike what we
Well,
witnessed with
I think
Paris
it's a
and
good fight, and I think they
yeah,
do a really. I watch a lot of action, like films,
mhm.
TV, whatever. And I one of the things that and also as a writer, one of the things that I think is always really cool is like, how do you make a fight look fair and good when we A know someone is going to win and
yep,
B theoretically have been told that their skills are the best, right?
right,
Yeah.
John Wick does a decent job of this, although he usually fucks people up.
yeah,
I think One Punch Man, the anime Wampaman, is an incredible version of this, where like literally the entire concept of the show is that this guy is a superhero who wins every fight with one punch. But every single episode, they make you question if he's going to even win. And every single time he wins with one punch. And so I think they do a really good job of making it fair. I rewatched it after I watched it last night. Like I rewatched the scene just back to back to like that scene. And they do
yeah,
a really cool thing. I don't know if it's straight editing or it's also choreo, but in the other fights this happens as well. But it's particularly in this one because it's such a long fight. Achilles moves differently than like the
yeah,
humans in this movie. Like he
Yeah.
does these weird bends and folds, and even the thing that he when he kills Hector, he does like a double spin before he
hmm,
stabs him. And he just like he moves in ways that the humans in this film don't. So even though the gods aren't present, like Achilles is our god on the. It's just a very cool technique that
yeah,
they use to make him the best fighter,
Yeah,
even against
yeah,
someone like Hector. Yeah,
Hector's the best fighter on a mortal scale. And
exactly.
then it's like
yes,
Achilles is just in another bracket.
Yeah, he just
yeah.
moves differently, and
Yeah.
it's a really cool fight. I love it, and the director's cut kills it with this music. I'm telling you.
So
So
he kills him. Achilles kills Hector and ties him up to the chariot, starts dragging
right
his body
away,
around.
Brutal.
right away, just
Hmm.
like,
His
He had
wife
that rope
is,
ready.
yeah, his wife is
Oh, and drama
screaming,
key,
crying.
she has not been watching
Yeah.
because, and Helen watches when he like officially dies. Helen watches. She kind of like grimaces and is like, "Oh no,"
like
and that's
taps
when she
her.
knows. That's when she knows. She's like, "Oh, I fucked up by coming here. Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Also, something that I've always thought since I was a small child. I get it, right? They're doing the one-on-one battle. Let him fight. Once Achilles kills Hector and starts dragging his ass around, where are these famous Trojan archers?
right." That's what I'm saying.
Fucking shoot him.
Yeah.
But
Like,
but
what
I
the
mean,
fuck?
are the rules like that established that it's like that would be so unheard of to do that, or is like,
It would, but Achilles driving the Prince of Troy
oh
like
right,
nine
like the
times
extra
around them, like
insult?
that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like that was very much sacrilege. You
Yeah,
think
so I feel
yeah,
like at that point you can shoot him with arrows.
even more so to them than desecrating a temple. Like the Greeks
Yeah.
weren't that into priests or temples. Like they were much more into like poetry and honor. So like dragging Hector around and defiling the body like that is
yeah,
so dishonorable. And there's so much actually in the Iliad about stripping people's armor off and like having people's armor and like it's just very funny to read because like and he was it's just you keep reading and he was stripping so and so and he was stripping so and the point is they're killing him and like taking his stuff but it's just like constantly reading they're stripping his armor off and I'm like okay
yeah. You can't help
uh
going to the gay place.
yeah sorry yeah I guess I'm not woke you win with your gay stuff yeah so this story in the mythology of like the whole Patroclus, whatever, Patroclus dying, then Hector dying, is like Patroclus sees all the Greeks dying, and they're like, Patroclus, like, you gotta persuade Achilles, that's why you're here. And Agamemnon's like, I'll give Briseis back, I'll give it back. And Achilles is like, nope. Patroclus is like crying like so many people are dying. He's like, well, why are you crying like a little baby? And he's like, so many people are dying. He's like, I guess you could wear my armor and fight in my stead, but just don't go past like the Greeks built a rampart to protect the ships. And
Hmm.
the Greeks and the Trojans at this point have gotten to the point where they're burning the ships. And he's like, don't let them burn the ships, but don't go and think you can get into Troy. Like, know your place. Um, Also, the gods have been summoned. Zeus gives them the plan. Uh, Hector, with Apollo's help, kills Patroclus and gets the armor. And but they leave his body. There's a whole fight over the body of chapters of that. And then Briseis weeps and is like, I loved Patroclus. He made Achilles promise to take me home and marry me. Like, I loved him. And Achilles is furious, even though this was his idea, but Patroclus went too far. And he goes to Thetis, his mother, and he's like, "Get me new armor because Hector stripped my armor off of Patroclus and has my armor."
Mm.
And so then he goes, Thetis goes to Hephaestus, the smith of the gods. And he's like, "Well, you raised me because Hera threw me out and you picked me up from the ocean and raised me. So I'll do this for you." And we get a whole description of the armor and all the scenes in the armor, like all the tableaus and the shield and the armor. And now Achilles is ready to fight. And Zeus is like, "Gods, it's the big times. Everyone can go out and fight." So we get Athena versus Ares and Aphrodite. Like she whoops Ares' ass because everyone hates him, and she kicks Aphrodite around. It's like you should go back to girly things. We get the river Xanxus. The river Xanxus starts with an X. Xanxus.
Oh, physics.
Yeah, it's fighting Achilles, and then Hephaestus as god of fire is fighting the river. Until the river is like, wait, 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 wait. Like, I just let me be a river. Like you're killing all my
Yeah.
eels, you're killing all my fish. Just let me back up. Hera fights Artemis, and this I can't believe.
But it,
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to breeze through some of this because I'm like, damn, this is so much that
well,
that's right.
okay, so I want to quickly go back to a point that you made about like the fact that the the Iliad has gods and humans, kind of
Yeah,
multiple layers of the story. And obviously like the complexity of that to make that into a film. But I also think that because this movie comes after Gladiator being
yeah,
Gladiator, I think that's also probably why they stripped out the supernatural and the gods, is because it's like we're making our version of Gladiator.
yeah. But to me, I'm like,
Like,
what would make this movie better? Aphrodite walking around being cunty,
Yeah.
like,
so well, here's what I'm gonna say is also I am a normie in terms of I wasn't ever really into like mythology, like Greek
Hmm.
mythology. So I don't know the stories involving the gods. I've only ever known it through
as
basically this movie, through just the human
yeah,
story. So for me, this works really well. I'm like, this is a perfect movie, no note, you know?
yeah,
It does also have that, like, you know, I need to do more research to nail down the exact timeline, but like that mid 2000s later, like we're gonna be serious and gritty and real, and like we're not
Yeah,
gonna have fun, we're not gonna play around. Like it would be
exactly.
cheesy, it would be corny, it would be
Yeah,
campy to have the gods here. And now I think maybe in different ways, but we all love cheesy and corny and campy.
yeah,
yeah,
And so like but it does feel a version with the gods feels like a different tone, a different vibe.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
what's cool is there's a thousand ways to tell this story, right? There is the
yeah,
yeah,
Andra POV. There is the version where, Artemis or Apollo is the main character, or it's a god's story and we're hanging out with the gods for the most part while the war is being fought underneath. I mean, as Cullen was telling you, you can kind of like, I remember as a child remembering this as like there are like certain gods on certain sides.
yeah,
It's like, all right, it's like Ares and Aphrodite versus, and it's just like, and whatever the gods change is how the change of the war happened. It's actually not
yeah,
yeah.
anything to do with what the humans are doing.
Right. Yeah.
yeah. And
Not too.
I think as a movie that could be I could see how that could feel very disheartening and like anti-humanist in a way. Like this like oh we're just kind of pawns in these games.
Right.
These tragic figures. So I think that there's
And you did
value.
mention this is like one of the most post 9/11 movies
Yeah.
ever. So there's also
Yeah.
that is that like focusing so much on like the human uh fighting is like so much in our consciousness, especially in 2004.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think there's also a level though where it's like that is such a part of the story and it's where a lot of the more interesting elements reside and like also the idea for fun. But I think people really struggle with understanding the concept of these gods, and because they'd be gods, but they wouldn't be like moral in like the Christian like sense, people would be
yeah,
like weirdly disappointed that they're people would be offended that they some people would be offended that they existed in a movie and implied to be real. Some people would be
yeah,
offended that oh, well, that's not how gods are supposed to act. They're supposed to be just. And it's like, well, no, like that's just not how people thought of gods back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now that this movie does exist, because I'm not sure we had like a seminal, Trojan
Yeah.
War,
No, not really.
no. And so sometimes it feels like you can't make those until
Right.
the normie version essentially
Yeah.
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
So now that normie version exists, now you could do one. I also think like, you get Hercules. What's that, 96, 98?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And they've got the gods in it being silly and fun and different. And like
But
that's kind of
mostly good versus evil.
sort
You have like
yes,
Yeah.
that is
Hades
good
is
versus
evil, Zeus and Hera are good, and his like monogamous parents.
yes.
Yeah. Very
True.
monogamous.
They do, yes, they
No
do give
swans
that.
in sight.
They do give that version. But I
Yeah.
don't think you need to do like I don't know. It's interesting that there are so many different levels of intervention that you can play. Like you can play
Yeah.
this as just like a bunch of gods in a hall who are bored choosing favors and being like, you pissed me off and I used to date you, so now I'm gonna be a
Yeah.
I feel
person's
like it'd
god.
be good as like a series,
Oh yeah.
like a TV show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was a
Yeah.
Trojan War TV show on
I feel like
Netflix a few
yeah.
years ago, and I watched maybe 1 to 2 episodes and then wasn't that interested.
Mm.
Troy, Fall of a City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
Uh,
first Reddit hit is Troy, Fall of a City is unfortunately a bad show.
yeah, I remember they had Helen's daughter in there, and she was like, "I hate my mom," and for whatever reason, I was like, "No, I'm just not interested." It's something I was like, "This is a weird character to include," and then there's a weird, yeah. I was just like, "What?" But I think Greek mythology is very hard to do. Actually, it's like so classic that it makes it hard to adapt. So yeah, you get Athena versus Ares and Aphrodite, River versus Achilles versus Hephaestus, Hera versus Artemis. And this is where you see the propaganda because Artemis, as goddess of the hunt and nature, had a big temple in Ephesus, was very big in the region Troy was supposed to be. And in this, she's depicted as like a little girl, and Hera boxes her ears with the bow because Hera was more like big in Argos and like a big Greek goddess. And you see them being like, wow, Artemis is just a little girl and she runs crying to Zeus. It's like, your wife. And she's like, Hera's always causing problems and she's so mean to me. Whenever there's a quarrel, Hera's there. Uh, and it's just like, okay. And then Hermes is supposed to fight Leto. So Hermes, the messenger god, is supposed to fight Leto, who's mainly known as Apollo and Artemis's mom. So she's like a weird character. She's like deep in the bench to suddenly be one of the leads. And then they don't do much. And Hermes is like, I don't want to fight you. Just say you beat me and go pick up Artemis's arrows that she scattered. And Leto's like, okay. Uh, Apollo is like fighting Poseidon, and then Apollo's like, I don't want to fight my dad's brother. And Artemis is like, are you being a little piss baby? But Apollo's like, no, but Apollo is running around a lot. Apollo and Athena are the ones who are running around a lot. And there's just so many earthquakes from Poseidon that Hades is worried that the underworld's going to split open and they're going to see his moldy mansions that even the gods fear. And like that's where he keeps the black mold that made J.K. Rowling transphobic.
Yeah.
uh, Keeps it in there. We also get this stuff with Aeneas is going to fight Achilles. And Apollo's been helping him, and then suddenly he's not. And Poseidon's like, I don't want him to die by Achilles, and like the gods do a lot of mist. They make a lot of mist to distract people, and he sweeps Aeneas away. Um, then we get the big Hector versus Achilles. They're gonna fight. Hector's like, I gotta do this, even though his parents are like, please go come into the walls. Please come to the walls. His mom's like, these are the tits that nursed you. And he's like, no, I'm gonna fight. And then Achilles shows up and he's like, oh, fuck, I'm gonna die. He starts running. And Apollo is like giving him like hit points and like making him faster and stronger. And then Achilles is chasing him. And then Athena is like, no, you got this. And then she disguises herself as Hector's brother and is like, I got your spear, fight Achilles. I'll give you your next spear to throw. Throws the spear, turns around, gone. And he's like, fuck, Athena got me. So that's basically how Achilles gets to kill him is like this divine intervention. And Zeus weighs the scales and is like, Sawi, it's Hector's time. So Apollo has to back off and he gets killed and dragged about. They're dragging his body. Andromache hears Hecuba, the mother, screaming and wailing. And she runs out screaming and wailing. And she's like, damn, he's just like the rest of my family, killed by Achilles. Uh,
Uh,
Just ending families.
yeah. She's like, fuck this
I
guy
mean, at what point
personally.
does Andromache kind of think, is it me? Like, am I the reason everyone around me is dying by Achilles? Like,
Yeah, I don't
oh,
know.
blame women, you
I
know?
believe that's what I learned from the Iliad. Yeah. And so that's kind of to sum up all that fighting, the big climactic battle. Back now we're back to the movie and the post battle, where Briseis is weeping, you killed my cousin. He's like, now we're even, I guess. Priam shows up and is like, I came here in secret to get my son. I'm kissing your hands. I'm doing what no man does. I'm kissing the hands of my son's killer because I want his body.
Yeah.
And Achilles is
Very
like,
emotional.
yeah,
That's why you got Peter O'Toole.
yeah.
Absolutely. Just again, giving it, you know.
And Achilles is like, I guess, sure. And he's like, farewell, brother, to Hector. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
believe this. I don't believe this from you.
Yeah, no, because yeah, no, I think Achilles cares too much about his pride, but he does kind of like he cries over Hector's body, and so I
Yeah.
mean,
It's an emotional
maybe
day for him.
He realizes that he
very,
was being a little shit, you know?
Yeah.
He realized he was
yeah,
acting from a position of emotional sadness.
yeah,
And Briseis leaves with Priam, who's like, wow, you're alive. Great.
I
yeah,
thought you were dead.
yeah,
And they leave, and Achilles is like, we'll let you do the funeral games for 12 days. And
mhm.
then Agamemnon's like, you're making me keep a promise of 12 days? I don't care. I don't care how many Greeks die. I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let the company
E-
die. I'll let
Exactly. Yes,
a
it is
thousand
definitely
Greek
giving
Mr. Water News.
Mr. Water News. That's so amazing. But yeah, no, and there's a moment where Odysseus is trying to like argue with him. And when Agamemnon says that, Odysseus is like, ah, shit. And then
Fuck,
he's
we're
like hanging out
doomed.
with his dudes like around the campfire. And I love this moment because this is where Odysseus gets like the idea. And I love this. So
It's
he's
so bad.
he's literally hanging out around the campfire with, his men, because
Yeah.
his kingdom. And there's a guy, unnamed man. Maybe it's tall Steve, maybe it's short Steve. I don't know.
Paul Steve
Um,
Ithaca.
Stevius probably. And
Stevius.
he's
Ithaca.
carving a horse. And
Or his boy.
yeah, and because Odysseus goes, "Oh, that's good." I love that line. Amazing. Is that one in the Iliad? I'm sure it is. Maybe it's
Yeah.
in the Odyssey. Um, but and he goes like, "Oh yes, it's for my boy back home." And so Odysseus is like taking in like, "Oh yeah, like my men could be at risk. They may not go home. There's very much this, all
Mm.
these men are, husbands, fathers, etc." But then he's also at the same time like, a horse, you say? Like rubbing
A
his
horse, of
chin.
course.
It
A horse. And I
sometimes
laughed so hard.
actually cried laughing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I question my skills as a writer, as do
Mm,
all writers always.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you see scenes like this, and then you remember that everyone is dumb always.
And
Yeah.
yep,
You feel a
this
lot
made
better.
it not only it was in the script, but it made it to cut. Y-
Theatrical cut.
Could have been you could do worse than that.
And I also think the Trojan horse as a concept is like it's so culturally big. It's like one of the big thing from this war. It's
Yeah.
like there's no way to do it that's not corny because it's so weird and we just accept it because it's part of the
It's a
story.
heist.
But it's like this insane weird thing that like you can't make feel logical, but we all expect it to be there and we just kind of accept it. But it's like I had this experience once of explaining this concept of Sleeping Beauty to someone who was from India, had not heard of this story before. And you're like, I'm insane. As you're telling the story, you're like, I'm insane.
I
But
sound
we
insane.
we
Yeah.
accept all this because we've been given it to us like since we were a child. Okay, there's a curse and the fairies, and then you explain to someone and they're like, what are you talking about? And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, they all just hide in the horse and they bring it in the city and they sneak out of the horse. And you're
The
like,
the part I love about it is so like when the Trojans show up to the beach, they're like, oh, like the Greeks left, but they
Yeah.
left this offering for the gods or whatever. So we're gonna take it and put it in our temple, right? And Paris is like, burn it. And I'm like, yeah, wow, this is the smartest thing you've ever said. Look at
And I don't
that.
believe it. I was like, why would Paris know that?
Yeah,
No,
He's
they
dumb.
just
exactly.
wanted him
I'm
to
glad
have a little
someone
moment.
said it, but like, but this is also where like Paris becomes the hero because not only is spoilers, he's the one that says burn it, but spoilers, he's the one who ends up killing Achilles. And so I'm like, how did this wimp become the
Well,
hero?
because
And I'm like,
Helen
where's
was
that
like,
arc?
"You're the prince now."
I don't think that was enough.
Hector's dead.
He
I
was a
mean,
prince
I'm
before.
not saying that was enough. I'm saying
I
that's the
know, but
movie's
that's the
logic.
movie's logic. So I'm like, I think for me, that's the weakest part is like Paris becoming this like heroic figure. And I'm like, no, he should have had to suffer an embarrassment for the rest of his life.
But is he heroic? Because, like, again, we get that early scene where Achilles doesn't fight Hector in the
Yeah.
temple when Achilles was like waiting in a dark room by himself, like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Um, because he's like, I'm not on the battlefield and no one can see you. Like Paris killing Achilles in the 40-minute long sacking of Troy,
Oh my God, yeah.
like with some air. Like, okay, first off, I'm shocked when it happens, obviously, because
Yeah.
he's just slanging arrows, and like no one really is like, good job, Paris. No one like he doesn't get a moment, so
Yeah.
it kind
Right.
of falls in line with his like character in a way of this like you know sniveling loser.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
archery is like not as brave, as fighting
No.
it face to face.
Yeah.
Uh
That's right, archers.
yeah. Fuck you, Robin
Fight
Hood.
me.
Yeah. So Paris is like it's inside now. I guess they sneak out at night, start burning things. The director's cut has more violence and rape and murder, so I
Hmm.
guess I love that. And then yeah, Helen and Andromache's gathering everybody, like we gotta flee. I don't know where Briseis is, but let's go.
They
Paris.
never know where Briseis is.
No.
She's the cousin,
She's
whatever,
just the cousin.
just the cousin. And Paris is like, I can't be a coward again. And Helen's like, I need you. And he's like, I gotta find Briseis. I gotta figure out what's going on. Aeneas, here's the sword, or people must live on. Uh,
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, Aeneas, he's a character too.
yeah,
But
he's a
like again, I'm a
character.
normie. I don't know these people, but I've heard the name, and it's like
Yeah.
Aeneas, he's a guy.
So Aeneas is the son of Aphrodite
Yeah.
and Prince Anchises, or something like that. I'm probably saying it wrong, but they slept together because he used to be hot, and Zeus kind of wanted to embarrass her. And then he starts getting old, and she's like, "Fuck, I fucked a guy who's now old." Uh,
Isn't
but
that
in
how it happens?
well, she's not used to people
Like,
getting old.
oh, right.
Yeah. And Aeneas is her son, so that's why she was trying to save him earlier. And
Yeah.
then Apollo is like Team Troy, and he's like one of the champions of Troy. Um, but he's escaping with his dad. He gets the sword. Um, we get Briseis is running around. There's horses.
What
There's
is she
fire.
doing?
She's
She's
just
just
like
running around. She's being
yeah.
a damsel in distress.
And Achilles is like, Briseis. And then she's like, wait, I got a plan. And she goes to pray to Apollo. And we get Priam getting killed by Agamemnon because he's like, have you no respect? You're like desecrating the temple of the gods. And then Agamemnon's like, no, TV killed you.
Yeah.
Uh, and Agamemnon goes up to Briseis, and I did actually really like this, where he's like, "Oh, it's too late for praying. You're gonna be sweeping my floors," and she's like, "Stab!" Like I was like, "Oh, I didn't expect it to go this way." She kills Agamemnon. I thought they were gonna have Achilles do it, and he shows up, and she's like, "Got him." But now Paris is like time to be hero, except I'm the hero in the worst possible way, and
Yeah.
killing him while Briseis is screaming no. But
Yeah.
I'm like, does he think she's screaming no because does he think Achilles is assaulting her?
Hmm.
Maybe. I
I think so.
mean,
I think so.
I think that he thinks he's saving her,
Agreed.
and
Yeah.
it's
yes.
just chaotic.
He doesn't understand that they have a relationship now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen Beauty and the Beast. He does not get captor captive romance.
They don't have Stockholm syndrome back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Stockholm
Cupid,
hasn't even been invented yet.
yeah. They don't even have Cupid and Psyche yet. Yeah, Cupid's still single. So he shoots him, and he shoots him first through the heel, and then that like immobilizes him enough to get shot a few
Yeah.
more times.
And that's where the normies go, oh, the
The
heel.
heel,
That's the thing. That's the thing.
and they Troy ends. They burn his body. Odysseus is like, I got to live at the same time as Hector and Achilles.
Yeah.
I'm sure getting home will be easy.
Womp 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 record scratch. I
Yeah.
bet you wonder how I got here. Yeah, that's like also like another thing is as someone who has read the Odyssey, but I was in middle school, so I'm looking at this being like, oh man, things are just gonna get worse for Odysseus. Like he thinks this is bad. And
Yeah.
he also keeps mentioning like, oh yeah, my wife and my son, and I'm like, oh, you're not gonna see him for a very long time.
No. Uh, so that's the end of the movie. That's how Troy falls in the movie. If to kind of fill in the rest of the mythological gaps of the Trojan War, we get Achilles desecrates Hector's body. Iris, goddess of the rainbow, and Hermes disguise themselves to help Priam sneak out, get Achilles' body. They do a big funeral for Hector. Um, Also, at one point, Achilles saw Polyxena, who's like a daughter of of Priam, and it's like, I want to marry her. And during those negotiations, Apollo helps Paris shoot Achilles in his heel, which is vulnerable spot. Shoots him with a poisoned arrow. So it's like he kills him, but not in a very honorable way because it's little Paris, and we hate him. Uh, they have funeral games for Achilles' armor. Ajax dies because he loses the armor to Odysseus and is so embarrassed. They go on a side quest to get the Philoctetes. You may remember him as Danny DeVito in Hercules because he has Hercules' arrows and they need them. And then that's how they shoot
Danny
Paris.
DeVito's in this
Yeah.
picture.
And that's how Paris gets killed by a poison arrow. They're like, then we have to get this statue of Athena because they're really filling time because that makes Troy unbeatable. And so they sneak in, and Helen's like, well, Paris is dead. I guess I want to get back together with Menelaus and helps Odysseus. Uh, and then he leaves the wooden horse. They're like, this isn't working. Let's all leave. Leave the wooden horse as an offering to replace the statue we stole. And then the priest, Lacoon, is like, don't bring that in. That's cursed. It's a trap. It's a trap. And then serpents strangle him and his son's famous statue. Uh, Cassandra also is like, don't bring that in. No one listens.
No.
Uh, Helen's role in this can be unclear. There's versions where Helen betrays the Trojans and helps the Greeks sack the city, or like helps spread signals. Other versions have her walk around the horse and like imitate the wives of Greek soldiers to like taunt them and try and get them to like break. Be like, it's me,
Oh,
Penelope.
Odysseus!
Odysseus.
How does she know that my wife has that vocal fry?
They're in the same sorority. Yeah. Greek life.
Ah!
So, oh, that's a weird adaptation that could be made. I can't. If I start thinking about that, I'll be here for hours. Okay. So Priam, when they come out and they're killing everybody, Priam tries to fight back up as like, you're old, come to the altar. Achilles' son kills Priam there. The disrespect. Cassandra, Andromache, and Hecuba are all taken. All the wives are taken to be slaves. Hector's son thrown from the battlements. Polyxena, the girl that Achilles thought was hot, is sacrificed on his burial mound. At one point, Achilles also saw this Amazon that he fought. Like an Amazon showed up to fight with the Trojans, and he killed her. And he was like, "Damn, she was hot." Um, Helen and Menelaus is first like, "I'm gonna kill her," and then she weeps, and he's like, I guess." So they go back and they get to live happily ever after. Uh, have a great life. Or
Hmm.
maybe the real Helen was in Egypt the whole time, And that was actually a cloud clone, a woman made out of clouds that they made to
Whoa.
deceive Paris, which is the worst cop out I've heard in my life, but was actually a common Euripides invoked that one a lot. Uh, Agamemnon gets Cassandra, ignores her when she's like, "Your wife is going to kill you when you get back because you killed her daughter." That's the last thing she remembers. And so her and his wife and his wife's lover stab him to death in the bathtub. So him being stabbed by Briseis feels like a more cinematic. Yeah, like it's like close enough. Makes more sense as a movie. And his children avenge him and kill her, and are reunited with their lost sister with help from Apollo and Athena. Aeneas escapes with his dad and son, loses his wife along the way, goes on to father the Romans. Julius Caesar, through him, claims descendants from Aphrodite, Venus. So Aphrodite always wins in the long game. Uh, because the Trojans conquered the Greeks or by Rome. So that's to just sum up how the Trojan War ended. It's kind of like the bridge between the Greek and the Roman era
Mhm.
through
And like this
Aeneas.
movie, it was only 3 nights. It was only 3 days, 3 nights. That's it.
All this happened in three
Yeah.
days, 3 nights.
3 crazy nights.
Yeah, so that is the tale of Troy. Never was there more oi that sucks than the tale of Helen and her Troy.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, and that's what Homer says.
no.
That's how they end the Iliad.
Uh,
Uh, so do we no, I think we should ask, do we root for our protagonist Achilles? Usually I feel like we've landed by the end of our movie discussion, but I don't know
right.
if we, how do we feel?
He's a fuck boy. So it's like in the 2026 lens, like I root for him in the sense that like he doesn't want to be Agamemnon's pet, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, that's like rebel,
Yeah, because
but
Agamemnon sucks.
He says
Yeah.
sucks.
like, "Why don't you fight him then?" That's when you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You are a fuck."
he's kind of like an anti-capitalist in that way, but
Yeah.
I also just find him very grating. Um, yeah, so no, I guess
No.
not really.
Yeah. I mean, we know I don't from
Because I
that.
don't want him to kill Hector, and I
You
know
don't
that
want
like
him to
that's
kill
what he
Hector,
has
which is
has to do.
ultimately, yeah, which is ultimately, I think the major moment, like what's what we're kind of building towards. So if you don't want him to kill Hector, then you're probably not rooting for him.
Yeah.
I am rooting for him,
You love him, and I love that for you.
uh, but I'm not rooting for the Greeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't want him to kill Hector. I want him to like catch Hector's sword and be like, "You can't beat me. Go kill your brother." You know?
Yeah.
Mm.
I just want, and then like they kiss or something. I would like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm into that.
Um,
Hectiles.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ship it.
Hector,
Hector.
Actor.
Hector. Um, but it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to be like he's Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you read Song of Achilles, and like that's pretty. That gives you a nice little side hustle
Yeah.
vibe for it. So, but it's tough. It just like I think that this movie does a really good, like, not good job, but like I think this movie does a job of like making
Yeah.
Agamemnon such a villain,
Yeah.
thus making Achilles, though he is our reluctant hero in that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Hamillian way, he's also got some like serious flaws. I don't find him like grating or whiny. I find him petulant because he
Yeah.
is. But
Yeah.
it's the rare instance of someone being petulant when they actually like can be. It's not
Mm.
like he's like a king being like, oh, well, if I don't do this, then like he's not King Joffrey. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna be a dick to me? Well, I'm your best fighter. Like
Yeah.
literally, when me and my 20 men don't fight, we lose this war.
Yeah.
So maybe you should be fucking nice to me. And like I understand that. Like
Hmm.
I am kind of
No.
like, yeah, maybe you should be nicer to the guy who
Yeah.
Like
is
politically, I'm behind him. Like he's
Yeah.
his fight with Agamemnon, I'm absolutely behind.
but
I
like
was expect
minus the choking of Briseis, which is
Yeah.
yeah.
bad. I'm not like he's not doing too many wrong things.
I was expecting to hate him more, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
was impressed with a lot of choices the movie made, as much as I feel like it ruined, like, it took out the fun of the story. But I also love, I something that bothers me about Greek mythology at times. It's so problematic. No, no, I'm not here. Greek mythology
It's
is
also
problematic.
it's also
Uh,
rape and
yeah, it's the fate aspect is like you can't escape your fate, and we know I'm a big free will stan.
Mhm.
And I think by removing the gods, you can focus on that human element. That it wasn't like, oh no, Hector's just gonna have to die to Achilles because Zeus says so. It's just
Yeah.
all these cards, all these human things playing out tragically. And even through this discussion, I appreciate that more. Um, yeah. So
yeah. Do you
I
think have you like I'm trying to think of like other war epics from like later, like even like Napoleon from a couple of years ago, Ridley Scott's Napoleon,
Mm.
like that I think like I like that movie even though I think it has some troubles, but like I think it does a really decent job of like being very like an adult cerebral film despite being a war film. And I
Yeah.
think
yeah.
this is fun even though it doesn't have the gods because it's like this is a big silly movie,
Yeah.
not cracking jokes or being fun or witty. It just is like, you know, bros like lines and it's like that. We used to, my friends and I used to do this thing called Fuck Yeah Fridays, where on Fridays we would like pick a dumb movie and just like get very drunk and watch it and like yell at the screen like Pacific Rim or like
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Troy is a great one for this. Like just those
Oh
kinds of,
yeah.
it's like a great movie for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's I think a childhood aspect of me that has such disdain for those movies. And now in a world without them and with only like
Yeah.
Marvel, and like I like kind of like miss it, or I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? There's a creativity to this. You
Because
had to
I think
find a story and adapt it that had all these heavy themes. And how do I
mm,
simplify this? I'm like, there's a craftsmanship to that.
Yeah. How do I
There's a
not
yeah.
make it so boring and serious, but not a joke? And there's
yeah.
a
Yes.
real line
But
of like this adult film. Yeah.
and that's why I think like I find this movie both it's taking itself seriously in the sense that like it doesn't have like the fun elements we're talking about, but I also think it's very campy. And
Yeah.
I it's a double period piece. It's a period piece because obviously it's set way, way, way back, but it's
Yes.
also very much a 2004 film.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so
And
it's like if we were having this conversation as like this was like had just come out, it might be different. I see this through such nostalgia color glasses.
if we
Like
made
I
this
have to
now,
admit
if we
this.
made this now, who is Achilles?
Uh
They would still cast Brad Pitt.
Probably. Honestly, they
That's
probably would, or they would cast like who's the
Not Jacob.
not Jacob
Jacob.
Elordi, the other one who played Elvis.
Oh,
Austin
I
Butler.
was like
Austin
Vanessa
Butler.
Hudgens'
Yeah,
ex.
they would do like Austin Butler or something, right? Am I thinking?
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's true. Like if they with this is such like a 2004 capsule of like vibes. But I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
just going back to like the fact that Hannah and I both saw it when we were like younger, and that's really what connected to us. Like Cullen, you probably had this like aversion for like these like quote unquote dad movies because you were like kind of like watching with your dad and they were like pretty like straight, they were
Yeah.
didn't have this level of fun for the dumb. It was more like a Napoleon movie. And if I saw Napoleon when I was 12, I'd be like, bleh. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy, when you're 12, like it has enough wildness, it has enough
Mhm.
silliness, it has enough like
Because I
over the
think,
top going for it that it makes for an enjoyable watch.
yeah, because we know war isn't like this anymore, like spears and swords and stuff. So there's that novelty already there.
Also, no tactics in this. This isn't like a
No,
tactics movie
No.
it's
fully. The only tactics that we see are the flaming balls, which are sick.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, the
And
flaming ball.
also
Yeah.
it ends in a heist. It's a heist
Yeah.
movie. So it's like
Yeah.
that's also very novel. I think like the I also think just in general, like stories set in this time are just going to be more fun for us,
Yes.
even if they are more serious and not adding in supernatural elements, just by nature of how novel it is.
And
Um,
costumes and no guns.
yeah, that's why
Like,
it's so campy
yeah.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's a perfect film.
So I guess if we're going into was that your fantasy, Hannah?
Okay,
So it's
so
a
it's yeah.
two-pronged question. Unlike Poseidon's three-pronged trident, there's only two.
Mhm.
Uh, is this your fantasy as a do you like this movie? And is this your fantasy as would you want to live out this adventure? Hannah.
Okay, so no, I would not want to live this out because famously, as Alyssa said in our last episode, and I think we mentioned other episodes, there's no plumbing. Okay. That's not happening here. Not interested in that. But also, I would be a woman in this world. And I think Hector literally says that, his wife would become a slave woman and that would be a fate worse than death for her. And I'm like, yeah. And also just like being a woman in this world would suck. So it's like that's also a whole thing. Um, but if I ever got the chance to like, I don't know, do a LARP and like be one of these soldiers and like whack people with a fake sword, hell yeah, I would do that. But that wouldn't be me actually living this out. But I do fucking love this movie. This movie rocks. I was screaming, crying, throwing up, but in the best way. It made me want to watch. I want to watch Pompeii now. Pompeii is a little bit older, but it is equally awesome. And that is a natural disaster. No one can control that. So that one's also that one's way more campy though. But yeah, I love this movie. No notes.
Jeremy, was this your fantasy? I think as I'm gonna guess as someone who practiced Achilles' move, that
It
you're
was.
ready to step
You
into those
have lived this
sandals.
out.
I have I have. That being said, I would not want to live at this time. I'm pretty on the record as being anti-war. I am weak. I wear glasses. Uh, I mean, I like played sports in high school at a high level, and people that surprises people. But I can get in touch with that side. But I'm just like pretty anti. I also would not be into Agamemnon's bullshit. Um, it's interesting though, for such like an important to the Western world uh time period, we really don't have that many like swords and sandals, like actually like good films.
Yeah.
No.
Especially recently. We've
Yep.
got a lot of like very old ones that are like pretty straightforward. And then some newer ones that are like going out all out of their ass.
Yeah.
So this is unfortunately, like one of the better ones. So for that, I have to say it's my fantasy. Like they do a pretty good job. Um, would I have liked to be in this film? Yes, that'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Love to be on
Yeah.
set.
Fun.
Yeah. For me, I love how much you both love this movie. And it made me appreciate it more. I feel like this is usually the position Hannah's in, where she's
Yeah.
like, talking about this movie, it made me appreciate it more. So I'm in that. I, in some ways, liked it more than I thought. In other ways, was kind of like, ooh, I can't wait for this to be done.
The second half does drag, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
Uh,
first hour and a half is like really strong, and then you're like, oh, this war has been going on for a while.
which is,
Yeah.
which
Imagine how
is,
they felt.
yeah. 10 years. And that's where I do want to give them flowers, and that it's a very hard to adapt story. It's big, it's sprawling. And so I agree with a lot of choices they made. Or even if I don't agree with the choice, I think there was like a lot of intelligence, anything more than I expected. I
Mhm.
expected it to be dumber derogatorily. Um, so yeah, not my fantasy. And I think the Trojan War is one of like the saddest epics. It's just like so tragic. I would not want to be in that story. Even if you're one of the survivors, it's like,
Imagine what you went through to
yeah,
survive. Yeah.
yeah. So no, thank you. That brings us to the end of our Trojan War. Um,
I haven't seen a single horse.
all right, bring in the horse again.
Bring in the
Yeah, bring it in, bring it in. Made it just for you.
Jeremy, thank you so much for coming
I'm
on.
sorry, wait, is that a knock at Jeremy's door? Did you check? Is there a Trojan horse? Cullen, I just pop out of it.
I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna burn it.
Burn the horse. Oh, things are
Hot
getting
in
hot in
here.
here. Ugh. Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on for Swords and
Thanks for
Sandals
having
Summer.
us. Thanks for having us.
Uh, is there anything you want to plug?
No, I'm an out of work television writer, so my plug is go watch TV so that people hire me. I don't know, go to your local farmers markets, compost, be kind to each other. The world is ending, so I'm in a real
Yeah.
Cassandra mood.
Cassandra's hashtag mood TM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. You could buy the Art of Rick and Morty book that I wrote 20 years ago. That's on Amazon.
Oh, very
Uh,
nice.
Other bookstores. But it hasn't sold enough for me to get any residuals yet, so I need more people to buy it.
Yeah, buy it. Go buy it, everyone.
get him those
Matt,
residuals.
listen
Yeah.
to this podcast that you guys make. I think that's my plug. Does that count?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, speaking of that plug, you guys can follow us on Instagram at Not My Fantasy Pod. And if you're on YouTube, hi, hello. You can.
Smash that like button like Helen in Paris.
Hey.
Smashed all oiled up
Yeah,
in
very
her
sweaty.
husband's palace.
Oily. He was so oiled.
Yeah. But also we didn't mention Menelaus was definitely making out with someone downstairs. So
Double standard much?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So maybe she
Wow.
like had every right. Maybe they were in an open relationship. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway,
Oh.
in the
Now the
comments, do you think they were in
polyamorous
an open relationship?
version.
I can't believe you brought
Listen,
this up in the extras.
at the very end,
This should have been a
opened a
main
can of
topic.
worms. But yeah. So in the comments, I mean,
Team Troy, Team Greece. Team
well,
Hector, Team Achilles.
Team Hector, Team Achilles.
Who's
Yeah.
hotter?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think people are really the same way in love with Eric Bana. Actually, I know this. They're not in the same way in love with Eric Bana that they were with Brad Pitt.
But
And it is
maybe,
a shame, but also maybe it is good for Eric Bana.
yeah.
Brad Pitt is
Oh.
objectively hotter in this movie. Eric Bana is hot, but he's got a weak chin, and it really hurts him, and that's why Hector dies. And it's okay.
Yeah, the lack of chin strength. Yeah. Okay, well, let us know your thoughts on those two down below. And you can follow me on Instagram at Cullen Ever After. Make sure I can tell you're not a porn bot, so I can accept your follow. And
And
now
if you are a porn bot, I'm sorry.
I'm
Follow
sorry.
me
He's sorry.
instead. Yeah,
Follow Jeremy
me
instead. And tune in next week for a jump.
Next episode is
I don't know if it's next week, but
yeah.
it's 6 years after this. Return to ancient Greece and my favorite Greek hero, Perseus. As we see some Titans clash in 2010's Clash of the Titans.
Wow.
Mhm.
So get ready for a lot of things.
A lot
a lot
more
of
than
things.
this. A lot more than this.
That is a bad movie.
Spoilers.
Okay, that's not a spoiler.
You could tell from the trailer.
That's the tagline of the film. It's Clash of the Titans. This is a bad
movie. Yeah. You know that once you look at the poster. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
right.
We'll see you then, listeners. Take
Bye,
care.
listeners.
Bye.